It's probably going to Pawn. You know, this is a Pawn champion. He's been such a great Jace for so long. But there is that possibility that they could flex it to bottom.
Question, if that is a flex, how do Edward Gaming round out their composition, and how on earth do Fnatic reply?
So look at what EDG has right now. If you are going to run a Jace in the bottom lane, you need backup. Because obviously for him to all in lane, he's going to go melee form, he's going to jump in on the cannon. So a Twisted Fate is open for them in the mid lane. That pick, combined with the fact that Gragas and Fresh to set up ganks, that could be scary towards the bottom lane.
Solo lane Jarvan or a solo lane Rek'Sai. Do you think?
Huni will take it in top lane.
And he's done it before.
Yeah, we've seen this Jarvan before, and Reignover has never played Jarvan in competitive play. That would be a new one for him at least, but I'm expecting this one to go top into the Fiora matchup. EDG should know that could happen and probably will happen, but instead we get the safe Victor as well for Feb.
Now, if memory serves, when Huni did play that Jarvan top, it was against Elements, and the game was challenging, let's say.
He had a terrible start.
That's exactly it.
Nothing. And then, after like 20 minutes, his team was winning, he got like 5 kills, and it was like, oh, Jarvan seemed to work pretty well for Huni. But we didn't get to see that early game from him where he was super dominant. I hope it's going to be Twisted Fate for EDG. I think it fits in perfectly with what they're building
There's the
here.
flex.
It's going to be Jace AD carry.
We get it. Oh, I thought it was so ridiculous. I know. When we brought this up, talking about it, we're like, nah, he's just playing around. But this is going to be the bottom lane Jace versus bottom lane Kennen matchup.
Could you ask for a more interesting way to start
Twisted Fate AD
the
carry.
quarterfinals of Fnatic versus Edward Gaming?
But again, let's just really quick talk about this Jace. What it's going to do? Okay, the all-in potential is going to be very, very strong. You have backup from Fleetloff, who loves to sit around the bottom lane. You have Lantern from the Thresh, you have CC to set up, and then a Twisted Fate joining. They're even running triple teleport at home.
Also, Jace is actually a really good champion just individually against Alistar. If you queue up the knockback for Jace in hammer form, you can cancel the headbutt, and he won't be able to combo you. So he'll headbutt you, and you'll knock him back at the same time. Won't be able to get off that pulverize, and we'll be able to interrupt it. Plus, they also have the Thresh where Flay interrupts as well.
They're still sitting on triple teleport at the moment. Add in a Twisted Fate as well. That's in total 4 globals coming in for EDG.
And Febiman's running cleanse in that middle lane.
Well, wait until they lock. They did. They went into game with
Flash,
3 teleports.
teleport, AD carry, death. It is happening, and it is happening here in London. Hit up Twitter with your votes. Hashtag FNCWin if you think Euphoria is the way, or hashtag EDG win if you think Eulogy is the way. It's game 1 of the quarterfinals.
I'm so excited to see if EDG change their ways and actually try and focus on top lane now, because this Jarvan Fiora matchup is really, really snowballing. If Jarvan gets the first lead there, he can 100% Fiora. And yes, Fiora can riposte, but you have to have a really quick reaction time to riposte the Jarvan combo as soon as you hear the flag go down.
Yeah, I'm looking at a Jace and a Twisted Fate that's very easy to lock down for Jarvan once he gets rolling, or if he gets rolling up in that top lane. And there's a lot of CC on the side of Fnatic, Alistar, Kennen, even Victor with his own stun. So there's a lot of ways for EDG in the very squishy lineup here to get locked down, but so many teleports, long-range poke from a Twisted Fate and Jace as well, if they start grouping, having that 1-4 setup with core split pushing on this other side.
All right, so while everybody's been on the teleport hype train for all of Worlds, let's talk about what you lose when you don't take a combat summoner for your lane. Obviously, you're going to be weaker in the lane 1 versus 1. Really, that's supported by all of your teammates having the ability to teleport in if your opponents go aggressive. However, if Fnatic can go aggressive in multiple lanes at the same time and gain the advantage, then force them out of lane and have them teleport back, you can defeat them while they're on cooldowns.
But if I wanted to run teleport on my AD carry or on my support, I would do it against Fnatic. Because again, they are a team who does not play around Reckless and Yellowstar in the bottom lane. They will sit very often and farm alone and get no help. So if you know you always have your jungler as backup and a teleport from top and from mid, I would feel safe enough not running a defensive summon.
And look at the starts from the junglers. This is exactly what we're talking about for both of these teams. Reignover starts on the bottom side, so he'll end up top by the top side, you know, where he's usually around Huni. And Clearlove is starting on the top side. Well, he'll end up on the bottom side of the map to try and help Deft.
And Fnatic is pulling for him, so he doesn't have to use an early potion. He gets the camp down faster and rushes towards the red buff, so he will be slightly ahead of Clearlove once he reaches that top side. But again, it puts Fnatic's bottom lane behind because they don't get a camp. Deft is level 2 already.
He's got himself a ward, some additional potions from securing that Gromp. And gents, the theory of the AD carry teleport has been explained well. Let's see if EDG's communication can step up. Because with Amazing J, they did not look to be on the same page. But we have heard Analyst Desk discussing the leadership that Koro can bring. But he's also not on a tank. So he may also want some assistance and some support on that Fiora.
Well, he's had about 4 or 5 weeks now to practice the new meta picks up in the top lane. And while his performance in the playoffs last time we saw him wasn't great, he got benched. Amazing J stepped in for regionals and did really well. Koro is back and he's here for quarterfinals. Clearly the team believes in him.
Yeah, here we go mid though. Reignover, level 3, going for the Rek'Sai gank. Looks like he may be able to get, oh, he misses even the Prey Seeker, so he gets 0 damage out of it. Wasted very little time though.
Did show he
Passes
moved
right
towards
through.
the top side of the map. So right now it's very easy for EDG. You can see Koro already gone back to his own tower because his team is communicating. Careful, Rek'Sai going on top side. Don't risk the combo from a Jarvan. That is so easy to set up a gank into the next knockup from Reignover.
Yeah, and he's actually using his teleport back to lane here for Koro. So that is 2 of them down. All three of them
down.
actually been expended. So I talked about working around those cooldowns for the teleports. All of these laners are much weaker in lane. Really, the difference is going to have to come from the extra Doran's Blade that Koro bought
Versus the
with
blue
that
buff.
purchase.
That Feathervin has now been donated. First one of the game. So already Feathervin had shoved Fawn in. Fawn's picked up that additional Dorans. Feathervin's going to have to do a little bit more work with that blue to maintain control against Fawn.
It's such a funny setup Fnatic run. The bottom lane doesn't get a camp alone. They give it over to the jungler or to Huni normally. And Reignover rarely takes away his own blue buff early on because he gives it to Feather and he can use it more in that mid lane. So they're trying to really split the resources quite a lot. And because they're playing a utility AD carry, they don't care about Reckless falling 5-10 CS behind.
They're paying it forward. Bottom lane gave a leash to jungle, then jungle gave the early blue buff
Then
to
they
mid.
gank for Huni.
They're such great friends. Here, look at this invade from Clearlove, though. It does get down some early wards. Now, as a jungler, whenever you go to your Raptor camp this early in the game and you see it not spawned, if Reignover goes over there and sees the Raptors have been cleared, you have to assume there's a ward in that brush. Because you've obviously been counter-jungled there, this is literally the most common ward that junglers will place early in the game. Right now, just because he just switched over to his sweeper, he doesn't have it ready to activate, but he's got to know that he just went through wards.
Instantly pinged the location,
Oh,
Kobe.
he'd get himself into trouble.
Well aware. Gold card is already primed. Reignover gets tagged, but he channeled the tunnel already and gets away relatively unscathed.
Yeah, Pawn jumped the gun there a little bit. They had him right where they wanted. Full vision on him, but pulls the trigger early.
Now, Mountain showed us yesterday just how slippery a Rek'Sai can be. Reignover sticking around for this invade, and there's seems to be a little bit of movement from the mid lane. The Death Ray catches Pawn. Reignover's not going to get the knock up, and the gold card did connect. Reignover's still got flash, is going to need to channel. Teleport's coming in onto the tunnel from behind. Huni throws down the Damascus standing, and the Dragon Strike, and it's first blood to Feathervin, but Reignover eats the wild cards, trades 1 for 1.
Yeah, a little greedy there for Reignover. Goes back in, gets hit with the auto and the wild cards, I believe, to go down for an extra kill. Fnatic would have had that clean first blood if not for that.
Not very often, though, we see Fnatic put so much attention towards the mid lane. Early on, Feather farms under control mages. Normally doesn't do a whole lot, but they really want to shut down this Twisted Fate. Early on, it meant Reignover showed himself twice, and EDG knew what was going on, but didn't respect the fact they didn't have a teleport from top, and Huni did.
Yeah, actually chalked that up to sort of a fumble by EDG because they were the team with more information. They got played there. 3 teleports down, and they let Fnatic create a play Oh, they were down in teleports.
Reckless just got chunked real hard down bottom, and Huni, he's been challenged. Koro in his first game at the World Championship flashes forward aggressively. Destiny gets channeled by Born, and Huni is caught by the red cards. Gate is revealing his vision. Koro lunges forward. Red card, yellow card, blue card. Pawn's looking for the trigger, pulls it on the gold, but Huni's managed to get away.
EDG afraid of chasing in. They had no vision in this jungle. Didn't know if suddenly Raynova would show up, or Febiven was nearby. And in the end, Huni escapes. First ulti used from the Twisted Fate of EDG, and it was not resulting in a kill.
And that is huge. What an outplay there from Huni. Waiting for Pawn to trigger the ultimate there and actually commit to one direction. Pawn actually committing a little bit too early there. But Pawn does have the early cooldown reduction boots, so that will reduce the cooldown for his next Twisted Fate ultimate.
Yeah, we're probably going to see the standard build for him, where he goes for home guards very early on, and you're not afraid of then just use your entire mana pool and pushing out a wave, recalling, proc the home guards, get mana back, and then go gank the lane. Obviously, Fnatic needs to constantly communicate. Whenever he's moving away from the lane, he has TP, and ulti will be up in a few minutes as well.
Because Victor can clear a wave so easily, though, he's one of the best at punishing that roam. Pawn went for the early play, and Forbidden's already up. A large amount of CS there in the middle lane.
Pawn's playing for the impact, though. Home guards again picked up. Reckless, we just caught a glimpse. A little lucky that his opposite number's gone for that Manabune build, so his Cutlass will be slightly more effective than the stacking tier. Gonna buy that AD carry a little bit of time to be more relevant.
There's some good things about the AD carry Kennen is on Cutlass and Blade of the Ruined King. He's very strong 1v1. And he can handle himself, he can sit and push out waves. Obviously not great wave clear, but the build we're going to see from Def is going to be that tier into Brutalize, into Last Whisper, and so on. Huni again getting jumped on by Coral.
Trading relatively even. Huni's Golden Age just blocked some of that damage. Koro's going to get some additional sustain.
Yeah, you can see how defensively Koro has to play. He has to run away as soon as his riposte is on cooldown there. Rainover does go through a ward, so he'll continue to play defensively. Right now, what you want to do is stay just close enough to keep Rainover around and waste his time. Clearlove actually gonna find him here.
And he's got level 6. Koro's challenged Huni. It's top v top and jungle v jungle. Huni's been procced. Koro's regen. Huni's gonna run away. Destiny's being channeled. The dunk comes down, and Koro takes a tower shot. Pawn gets a kill on Rainover. 2-for-0 EDG.
EDG is constantly reading where Raynova is going, and Clearlove had early level 6, another teleport for the team, and they can just simply collapse onto Fnatic. Huni right now, every time he gets a one-on-one against Koro, he's losing it, and he just died 1v1.
With 3 teleports and Twisted Fate ultimate, it's ridiculously hard for Fnatic to keep track of all the globals here, so they have to be very careful and very sure of their vision when they go for plays like this. Plus, right there, Huni committing to the 2v2, actually trying to keep Koro from converging on Rainover and save Rainover there, cost him big. Koro with the almost instant 4 proc of the Vitals, really well done there by Koro.
And that's why I would really like to see Fnatic just kind of sit back and say we don't have to go aggressive,
Yeah, exactly.
because our mid laner will never be able to follow. But what Febiven can do is just constantly push in that mid lane, get a little bit of damage on the mid tower, empty the mana pool of the Twisted Fate, and keep the pressure that way, and always save your summoners for defensive moves when the teleports start happening from EDG. You cannot fight early on against so many globals.
They even had the early sight stone here. Rainover's got the sight stone, set up your defensive vision to keep track of Gragas. If you can keep track of Gragas, then lanes can play defensively. Down bottom, Reckless and Yellowstar fairly easily playing safe. Meanwhile, though, Deft on the other side, as you said, he's got the tier. That's all that Jace wants to stack up right now.
Sure. Again, he's not going to be super strong at the moment, but he can still sit and farm. Not a whole lot of kill pressure. Again, also with the teleports. So really, against a team that plays so much around the top laner, having so many globals is so effective, because the split pushing should never really start from Huni. He will always just get jumped by 2 or 3 guys.
We'll find out how Huni's going to be able to pull himself back into the game. And we crested 10 minutes. Febiven's got a very large CS lead over Pawn. Pawn actually, CS difference at 10 is the 2nd lowest of all quarterfinalist mid laners. So he's going to have a little bit more pressure to make those side lane gank impacts more valuable.
Yeah, plus with this early home guard upgrade that you guys keep talking about, and a Twisted Fate ultimate back
Said it once,
up.
Kobe.
Right, it's a great point, because right now, what you're looking for is the recall timers. Everybody's fighting around recall timers right now. Yes, it is about, marginal CS leads, but it's the recall timer right before the big dragon fight setup here. You can already see Mako's trying to get the first line of wards down, trying to get some vision for themselves. Teleport's coming back off of cooldown.
And that dragon fight is where Fnatic needs to strike. It's not in the lanes against the globals. It's in a big 5-on-5 team fight where the enemy team is lacking 3 offensive summoners. We also see a rod of ages being built in the mid lane, so that's even slower stacking up. The first dragon is where Fnatic needs to be ready to fight. You have a cannon with his ulti, you have massive AoE from Febiven, and Huni can catch out some of these low mobility targets. That's where Fnatic want to strike, but they cannot fall further behind.
Also, it's exactly where Victor shines. If Febiven can get to level 11 first, the huge amount of burst from that Victor ultimate can easily 100% somebody with a full combo of Victor if they're able to gain some vision around the area. Yellowstar does get hooked in though.
He's gonna headbutt Deft away. He's in trouble. Huni forced to flash. He's being collapsed on. Flash forward onto Pawn. He's taken 2 turret shots. The Grand Challenge may time out shortly, but that's a great charge. Backwards, clear love, as well as Pawn get themselves one. Tower hits onto Koro. Will at least make it a 1 for 2. But EDG have the advantage. Level 10.
He's heading the wrong way.
He's gone the wrong direction. Clearlove has started to channel his recall. The death ray needs to hit, and it's going to. Febiven will make it 2 for 2.
And look at the difference right here, because Fnatic were not the ones making the play. They were sitting back, they were saving all the cooldowns so when this play would happen. Obviously, EDG can get the first kill because there are 3 guys going to top side, but at least you get a 2 for 2 on the side of Fnatic and you use a lot of globals.
Yeah, you have to be so careful though, because you feel like they used a lot of globals, but they still have 2 teleports available to
It's unfair.
Yeah, exactly.
By saying a lot of globals, they only use Twisted Fate over. So take that one back. Take that one back.
All 3 teleports will be available for EDG in just a couple of seconds. And that first dragon fight is still looming. As far as Fnatic are concerned, they've got first blood in every single one of the games they've played at the World Championships thus far. They've got the first tower in every single one of the games they've played thus far. First tower's yet to fall in this matchup. But in 2/3 of their games, they've got that dragon. Fnatic's early game decision-making has been pretty good. Here's this replay once more.
Yeah, and the highlight of this whole play is going to be Clearlove's ultimate on Gragas. We'll see here, Rainover does make a good play, knocking up Han inside the turret, but Clearlove right here, the target right back out. They're able to get their kill. Gold card there from Pawn. Koro does go a little bit too deep. They might have been able to finish it off without him sacrificing, but that's actually pretty close there, so won't knock him too hard.
Still, Huni stays alive for quite a while. It buys time for the rest of Fnatic to move up there. We have to talk about the fact, though, that Febiven, again, is not running teleport.
Yeah.
If he had it, this play would be so much more risky for EDG to pull off, because he could instantly join in, he could turn it around. But he's building more again towards these team fights. He wants that cleanse. So he's going to be so hard to kill late game when EDG try and go for him.
The thing I like about all of this globals and the fact that EDG can hit Fnatic where they really are strongest in their skirmishes and playing around their side lanes is the fact that Fnatic showed weakness to that exact playstyle in the summer split. He's now been jumped on by Koro.
Oh,
very nicely played. Will be able to get that knock-up and escape. And gets the Grand Challenge out of Koro, who hit level 11 first.
So we have TP for both top laners. Huni has ulti ready as well, and you can see Fnatic already started roaming around the dragon down here on the bottom side. They want to get these team fights going.
Pawn's going to get dove here. They've got Alistar coming in behind the turret.
Oh, Pawn's in so much trouble. Yellowstar needs to hit his combo. Flashes for the knock-up headbutt. Pawn backwards. Maiko saves him. Keeps him alive. Huni's in trouble. He slides and glides and dunks down. Will lock in Gragas, but it may not be enough. Reckless will sidestep the shock blast before Pawn has teleported with 100 hit points. The he flashes it and gets the kill. Rainover died on the top half of the map, and EDG decimate Fnatic.
They just completely outplayed
The dominoes are still going down here.
It's just Yellowstar.
Is this actually going to happen? Yellowstar's
coming.
Feeling confident. The Unbreakable Will is available and the Exhaust. Yellowstar wants to dive. He's got the teleport and Yellowstar's pulling back. Febiven's arrived, but Koro may want to fight, and Fnatic feeling the pressure, down 2,000 goals.
So we have this dive in the mid lane. Maiko, he saw it, he moved in, he saves his mid laner first. And then we are fighting every single lane. Fnatic pushing on this tower, Koro's here to defend.
I love the chain reaction when there are so many globals in the game. One fight breaks out on one side of the map, and immediately 3 other do. Now, we also want to see if Crow face checks his brush. Looks like he's going to skirt around it. But again, checking back in on that EDG story, they focused a lot more around top lane to get Koro ahead, to make sure that Koro succeeds with a lot of these globals, to make sure that he can then affect the rest of the maps.
Do they cancel? No.
All spotted on the pink ward. So they play more around Koro. He's on Fiora. They have globals. They have pink wards early on for him as well. But this coordination and communication from EDG is what we didn't see from the Chinese teams in the group stage. They couldn't pull off these multiple TP plays in time. Right here, this play is so insane. On 3 lanes from EDG. Dive on top side, fight in the bottom lane, instant teleport down to join that one as well. Reignover trying to do his best out of a top side.
But yeah, 2 versus 1 is difficult.
And Fnatic lose something in every single lane.
2 people who have been shining lights for Fnatic. Huni and Reignover, 0-3, 2-1, 4-1. Luckily for Fnatic, there is strong wave clear from Febiven's Victor. Unluckily, they may have to wave clear on multiple lanes thanks to all of the map pressure EDG can apply in the coming minutes. The second tower falls. Fnatic keep Gold Lead relatively close, 2,000.
Oh, well, we have another face check here. Let's wait for this fight to be over.
Huni's going to chase down. He's going to find the Vital. Huni's going to slide himself to safety. But Koro's winning the duel time and time again.
Again, Clear Love top once again. They just want to make sure that Koro keeps Huni down. Another tower dive incoming.
There's no flash for Clear Love, but he connects the body slam. Huni's caught for a little while, flashes the cask and gets knocked backwards. Will Koro and Clear Love get away? Reignover is going to go for the knocker. He's not going to find it. Koro puts the challenge onto Reignover, and Yellow Star's still far away. Huni's got the Cataclysm. He needs to find the target. Yellow Star's lumped up Koro, and Maiko with the Lantern of Life.
The Thresh, so underrated in these global comps. We talked about it being so important for Origin when they were running the double TP. Maiko has saved the mid game here for EDG. Remember, all of these plays that EDG made across the map, up in top lane and down in bottom lane, were because the mid lane dive that Fnatic were trying to pull off failed. When that tower dive failed with 4 people from Fnatic committed, EDG just got to spread across the map and punish Fnatic so heavily. If it wasn't for that, it would have been a trade. You know, just top lane Huni dying, for mid lane Pond dying, and Fnatic would have got that mid lane turret.
The only good thing for Fnatic at the moment is the fact they can keep pushing down these towers with all these guys leaving the lanes to teleport around. But EDG is doing exactly the same and getting the kill. So they're ahead in goal, 19 minutes in, and they've really been pulling off some very coordinated plays we didn't expect to see from EDG. Or the same EDG we saw in group stage.
Yeah.
It's a very, very different team already.
EDG averaged a 200 gold lead at 20 minutes. In this game, it's 10 times that. It's near 2,000. And we'll get the first dragon uncontested as Fnatic concede that objective. And for EDG, they are looking exceptional. Take a look at Pawn's build. Rod of Age has been stacking for 5 minutes. Lichbane is a second item.
Yeah.
Thanks to Koro's kills and farm, he's got that Black Cleaver picked up. And even Deft has picked up some armor pain, getting closer to that last Whisper. So those shock blasts are going to do a number on Fnatic's defense and allow EDG to siege and poke them away from the tower.
Yeah, Twisted Fate plus Jace poke is going to be able to keep Fnatic under turret here. Luckily for Fnatic, they do have the King of Wave Clear, Victor.
And I don't think EDG necessarily is looking too much to groove up and poke with their comp here, because
Well, they've got 3 teleports.
that's the thing.
have to agree with you
Exactly,
on that.
because Fnatic also running with the hard engage off the Jarvan. And Huni, while he didn't have a good early game because he's been camped so much up in that top side, he can still engage the fight and lock in one of these targets, burst them down with Febiven for Fnatic. So if EDG wants to play it safe in some way, they keep running 1-3-1. With all these teleports here, have your Twisted Fate sit in mid and just keep going to both side lanes.
I think the thing that you do, though, is you combo your Twisted Fate with your Jace, because in the mid lane, Twisted Fate can then teleport to either side, you know, while Jace and Twisted Fate are poking in the mid lane. Plus, Jace has a speed boost he can use to disengage for them.
Gentlemen, Yellow Star, he fancies this one. He's going to pulverize onto Clear Love. The Unbreakable Will is there as well. Reignover's jumped in. Deft has got dunked by the Cataclysm, and he's dropped. The Grand Challenge is onto Huni, and it procs, healing up EDG. But it does not matter. Koro's killed through the heal. Clear Love stunned up by Reckless. The pulverize connects. Fnatic find 3 kills. and may set their sights on Baron. They've peeled backwards.
We just talked about how EDG does not want to group up because then the hard engage from Fnatic can happen. And what do we see? Well, they get the fight. They start the Baron.
Yep, they're going for Baron here, and it's just Pawn and Mako on the outside, gonna try and poke them off of it here.
Find out if they do. Mako's gonna need to wind up that chain and find a target. 2,500 hit points on Baron. Paul
They have to
is
finish
gonna
it
throw
now.
the wild cards. They killed Yellow Star. The Baron's secured. Will they win the fight? Pawn's knocked up. Reckless looks for the stun. He's got one, he's got two. They've got Baron. Fnatic lead. EDG.
What a play from Fnatic. They know how strong they can be in a 5-on-5 team fight. Yellow Star was baiting it, and he goes in first. Reino with the flank. Everyone from Fnatic collapses.
You have to be decisive when you're facing this much global pressure. And Yellow Star, the captain, the shot caller for the team, makes the play. He dodges the hook from Mako, circles around, Reino teleports in, and they're able to get the fight they want. Deft here, stuck in the middle, can't even click the lantern and had to flash out.
Well,
Meanwhile, they've got Koro as well.
Again, this time around, Fnatic catching Koro, the straggler.
What's going on here? We just praised EDG for their coordination there. Great communication, suddenly using 3 teleports. Koro just got completely caught out for absolutely no reason. Grouping up earlier as well. Get the team out for Fnatic. They just turned this game around.
You have to be so careful. When you are running a high pressure team with multiple teleports, you have to coordinate your pressure. You can't just have one person splitting while the rest of you are, half your team is purchasing in base. Everyone has to coordinate their wave pushes. Bottom and top need to push at the same time. There, Koro was just pushing by himself. Nobody else from EDG applying pressure. So Fnatic collapse and they get a nice kill. With Baron buff afterwards, it means they get a whole bunch of objectives afterwards as well.
And of course, because Deft was dunked so early on, he never got to deal damage. Febiven's early advantage gives him some help. So congratulations to Fnatic. They knocked down the inner turret in the bottom lane, knocked down the inner turret in the middle lane. They may lose their top lane. Pawn has got a large minion wave to play with, has got a Lich Bane as well. So it's a 2-for-1 trade, and Fnatic are peeling backwards. Their recalls were interrupted.
But this is a play EDG has pulled off quite a lot back in the LPL, but they're trying to always trade objectives. They knew, okay, we can't really defend properly. They could maybe even tower dive us if we tried to. Our only wave player is the Twisted Fate at the moment, so just use him instead just to get something. So they take a tower, but Fnatic can still be super happy with the last 5 minutes.
Especially with the Baron buff on Fnatic. So difficult to try and clear those minions. So EG do get something back for themselves during the duration.
But that was the whole discussion we had before here. You know, what do you do with your EDG? Who do you send down to the second side lane? Because you have Fiora sitting in one of them split pushing. Do you send down Deft to sit on his own with the Jace because he doesn't offer that much wave clear in the mid lane and you want to have the Twisted Fate who can go to both lanes? Do you group them up and start poking? Again, that's so risky because of the hard engage that can happen. So they need to be able to put pressure on all 3 lanes. You can see Deft go towards top side now and set that 1-3-1 up for EDG. But they're so far back on the map. It just becomes a lot more harder now.
And because Fnatic just got such a big mid-game play, they got a whole bunch of vision while they were doing that. Not only did they take down a bunch of turrets, but with a double Sightstone for Fnatic, they've been able to lay so much vision down in EDG territory. As soon as EDG try and set up one of these plays, that does take a while to get there, Fnatic will know about it.
Look at all those wards in the bottom half of the map. Pawn did walk over that pink ward, pinged it out, and has actually gone back to kill that resource for Fnatic. And for Fnatic, Dragon's up in 5 seconds. They do have the timer. They're deciding with all their information, let's shove those waves in as best we can and try to secure at least the first objective. Only 2 Dragons at 25 minutes. It's not been a primary focus for either of these teams.
It's all been about top lane, really. So far away from Dragon, basically all the plays in the early game. This just to get to 6%. Let's see what happens. Hoon is going on Clearlove.
Yep, he's got him.
Clearlove's in trouble. He's going to get headbutted out of the Cataclysm, but Hooney follows up with a great Dragon Strike.
Another pick here for Fnatic. And again, that Dragon that Fnatic got is actually fairly big because, 26 minutes into the game, the 6% does mean a lot, and it was awarded to them because they had so much deep vision from that last push. On top of it, they catch Clearlove here. EDG starting to crumble.
Yeah, they really need to stop getting caught out because every time that happens, their split push breaks. Because suddenly now you have to back away from your side lane. You have to respect the fact Fnatic are 5 members on the map. So Koro now has to go really far back. He cannot use the big wave. Fnatic can set up another slow push and then start grouping again and look for another fight.
And of course, Clearlove, this isn't the first time he's been caught out of position. Much like Huni, throughout the group stages, both players being a little over-aggressive in their positioning, maybe too far forward. All the tempo is now sitting with Fnatic.
I just want to re-highlight, how important we talk about Thresh is in this composition. Right there was a perfect example where Clearlove should have been with Mako. That is a support jungle duo that's supposed to be getting vision, because Gragas Thresh is so safe if they are together. However, no Mako there, Clearlove gets caught, he gets pushed around, and they lose more space.
Items continue to stack up. Koro's had the Ravenous Hydra versus the Titanic Hydra of Huni. Muramana has been completed for Deft. And the 3-item spike for Reckless has come in. So everybody's scaling. Pawn's got himself that Hourglass as well. So a couple of tricky plays can be initiated with the Destiny. Fnatic playing it safe, pushing those waves out slowly but surely. Top will be going towards EDG in the next few moments. And that will give a couple of tools for Fnatic. A minute till Baron. Fnatic love Baron.
It's their thing.
I feel like EDG do as well.
Both teams often play so much around like these 25 minutes, get one fight, get a pick, and then take that Baron instantly and use it to close the game out. But for EDG in these team fights, if we get the 5-on-5, who do they want to kill? Obviously, we're looking at Reckless, we're looking at Febivit. There's a cleanse on one of them, so that's very smart. That was a sacrifice by not having teleport early on. And then Kennen is one of these AD carries who feel really well for himself because he has a massive AoE aura. He can stun you if your aura goes in there with squishy targets and take them down.
Not only that, but going with this build for Reckless, it's all based around sustain and auto attack speed. So he's getting off multiple stuns, multiple charges, and you just buy a little bit of time, steal up more life because you're life stealing on all of these targets with your double life steal build. If you don't focus him and burst him down, then he'll sustain through the whole fight. He'll continue to throw out these annoying mini stuns and provide that CC that Fnatic need because they have Huni who likes to run damage in top lane.
And if we get an aggressive ulti in the backline from a Twisted Fate to lock down a target, then all 5 members of EDG are stuck in there. They're all trying to get to the same guy. 2 melee champions for Deft and Koro. Or, well, Deft when he wants to burst at least. Let's see what happens
Star
here.
again.
2 teleports available for EDG as their solos are down in the bottom. Double stun on Clearlove and Mako. They've already got Mako. Clearlove's looking to get away as Reckless looks for the stun. Finds it. May not get another. Continues to auto-attack. 2 members down. With Dangerous Might, Fnatic may need to defend. Koro and Pawn, they've got an inner turret. They've got a minion wave to work with. And Fnatic, they're a little split. Huni's decided to back away. Febivin is already in the base. And the rest of the team on Baron.
Yep, he can't do it by himself. It doesn't matter. Pawn and Koro are going to be able to take this, and he's also got to be careful about getting killed. Let's see if Fnatic can take that Baron, though.
Koro's in so much trouble. The Cataclysm locks them both in, and with the Chaos Storm and the Death Ray, Febivin's already got a kill. The knockup doesn't connect, but it does not matter.
Huni comes in to dunk while they take the Baron. Now Fnatic can press in. They should get an inhibitor off of this.
And much like the first time we saw Huni play Jarvan, he got shut down in the early game, but once we get past the laning phase, he's able to create picks with the rest of his team. But this really is Fnatic knowing how strong they are around Baron. The way they set it up, they force EDG to come face check, flank around them, get the engage once again, and they manage to constantly force team fights on EDG.
Part of the reason why quadruple global teleport comps are so rare is because they take so much precision to pull off. Quite a lofty task.
So I will admit, after watching this Jace pick from Deft, I was super hyped at first because you talked about how he played it in solo
we were on
queue.
it, but hasn't really shown
He's really
up
done
why.
absolutely nothing.
Meanwhile, the Kennen, huge for Reckless.
Even laning phase, completely even. Deft always used his teleport back to lane. He had no pressure on the map, really. Huni's gonna catch him.
Well, a little bit of trouble here for Pawn. Lock
him
up,
up.
not gonna happen. Pawn makes it out with 200 hit points, but Fnatic with the Baron-empowered minions, they're knocking on the middle and bottom lanes. There's a teleport to the inhibitor. Pawn is going to secure this one. He may even be able to get out alive. He's definitely been reviewing the backdoor
He has
tactics.
no minions, though,
But
at all.
Huni's got home guards, though. He's got home guards. He's coming in for the repeat dunk.
There is no Cataclysm. I think losing 1 life for Supers might be worth it if the rest of EDG can defend. There's no teleport for Huni.
But
Fnatic
he was the
attack
wave
him in the
clear.
face.
He was the wave clear that just disappeared to take an inhibitor, nothing else. There was no minions, so he couldn't go further and threatened to backdoor the Nexus as well. So Fnatic knew, okay, well, he's gonna get 1, but now we don't really care because he's gone. We can easily just push up. Huni's going to join his team, and that's 5 members from Fnatic. They can dive EDG super easy.
Cataclysm's only a few seconds away, but this tower is down. It has been deconstructed in front of EDG's faces. The second inhibitor falls, and there are Supers on 2 lanes for Fnatic. This is the single lane for EDG.
I do not think that was worth it. Just even if you traded 1-for-1 in terms of inhibitors, because Huni could even have stayed with his team and just went straight for EDG.
If you look at that gold difference, when teams have had a gold lead at 20 minutes at the World Championship, they have an 89% win ratio. Currently, Fnatic's looking to be the 11%. They've turned the game around after 1 successful team fight. 1 misstep from EDG.
Well, these
swung it completely
EDG are
Fnatic's
running,
favor.
as we said, such a delicate team composition that takes so much precision. If you make that 1 mid-game mistake, we saw how heavily Fnatic were able to punish them for it. Huge, huge swing.
Trinity Force completed for Deft. Another thing he's done quite a lot on this Jace, and it's somewhat weird because he gets it so late in the game. It normally doesn't do much, like 30 attack damage, 32 minutes in. It's not a massive upgrade for a very expensive item. But it seems to be more, he wants the movement speed from it, he wants the Sheen proc to get a little bit more burst.
Yeah.
But he can never really go in hammer form against this Fnatic lineup because they want him to jump in with the rest of the team. So they have Kennen AoE, Victor AoE, Alistar knock off everything to just take down these squishy targets. So I don't really agree with his Trinity Force buy.
Horn has realized the error of his ways, joined the rest of EDG to wave clear under this turret. Baron has worn out, so Fnatic are waiting for those Supers. They're pushing through the middle lane quite deep. Unfortunately for Fnatic, I think there's going to be multiple Supers in the bottom lane pushing against them. So there is a little bit of a timer working against this top lane siege.
Yeah, right now, EDG are hoping that Fnatic stick around and are a little bit too aggressive. Because EDG's only chance here is to make an all-in at the turret, whereas Fnatic can just wait around. They've got all the cards.
We'll see when they reveal them, Kobe. Another minion wave has danced its way up to this top tower. How quickly Pawn can clear them. Melees are down to half hit points. Reckless gets chunked. Gold card comes out, and Clearlove has found him. Reckless gets pushed backwards, and he's shut down by Deft. This could be the team fight that turns it around. 2 members of Fnatic are down for only Clearlove from EDG. Featherfin's forced to retreat. The double kill will be added to Koro's score. Fnatic lose 4.
EDG do it. They pull off the only thing that they possibly could, an all-in under the turret. And they, well, can they chase down Forbidden here? It looks like Koro's going to be able to...
Look at all the minions on the bottom side here. There's double teleport for EDG if they want to take that wave and start pushing in towards them. They want the kill first and then try and go maybe and finish the game.
Well,
Featherfin needs to buy time. There's 20 seconds before his teammates are alive. And if EDG are unlucky, they will be able to take him down, but the Supers may not be able to be enough. Slicing Maelstrom
He bought
still
a lot of
available.
time.
yeah,
So
5 seconds left on Reckless. I think they're okay.
Right here for Fnatic, they got a little bit too greedy for that tower. Reckless walked up very close, 550 range, took a massive hit in the face from Deft, and then the flash forward. There's no cleanse for him, no QSS, nothing to save him. That was EDG needed. They invested everything to kill
They
him.
just dropped all the cards. Everybody up on the turret is exactly as you said. And then Pawn, right after seeing the poke land, Pawn goes in for the flash gold card on Reckless. That's a signal. Clearlove flashes in, and they're able to take him out immediately.
So key that Clearlove flashes forward. Otherwise, Yellowstar might have been able to just headbutt him away and avoid Reckless being shot back into the team, but he flashes forward there. He guarantees it's going to happen. They win the fight.
Exactly. They knew this was their only hope. Then all in at that turret. They've got 2 inhibitors down, super minions coming, and they came up clutch, made a big play. Fnatic still definitely in the driver's seat, still definitely with a huge lead here, but EDG clawing back.
And as we come out of that replay, Reckless has completed the Quicksilver Sash.
He learned,
How
he
different
learned.
that fight could have been. This time around, Reckless gets dunked and deals no damage that fight, thanks to the great work of Pawn, Koro, and Clearlove. Fnatic, their 10k gold lead has shrunk to 4k, and inhibitors will be respawning very soon for EDG, so this will reset the map pressure.
Yeah, Baron's up in 20 seconds though. So Fnatic are gonna try and grab the scuttle and work on vision around this area.
They have teleport ready for Huni, so he can stay on the bottom side and always control that wave with the super minions coming in case someone for EDG pushes it back. And as long as you bait around Baron, it's so easy to go push out top and mid lanes at the same time for Fnatic. So this will nullify the globals a little bit from EDG and make it easier for Fnatic to get a 5-on-5 team fight. You even saw Huni with Home Guard sitting and waiting in base. And just saying, oh,
yeah, it's going back to
again.
Fountain
So
right now. Oh.
He knows there are going to be wards behind EDG, and he wants to guarantee that engage.
This is the most intense moment for the shot callers. This is where you make or break the game.
There's no room for mechanical misplays.
Every second means Pawn gets closer and closer to that bottom inhibitor as well. And Fnatic can't make up their minds. Rainover goes back and he's left the tunnel. They're going to commit.
Death Sentence finds Yellow Star, and the Baron's being bursted so quickly. Pawn has started to channel his TP, but it may be too late. 2,500 hit points on Baron. Will it get secured by Fnatic? And it does. The knockup finds 2, the dunk finds 4, and the Maelstrom melts Edward Gaming, sending a massive message that Fnatic want to win the first game in this series. Koro and Def are running for their lives, and they will get run down. Def will drop the hammer, but it will not matter. Reckless gets the kill, 9, 2, and 4, and Fnatic should knock down the Nexus.
EDG unable to use the split push because of the Baron, and you saw Yellowstar sit ready to headbutt Clearlove away, so he couldn't get close. He had to just try and throw in his ulti. Wasn't enough, and Fnatic are looking to take the first game.
Fnatic have got Baron-empowered minions knocking down the Nexus. Koro will follow shortly, and as Edward Gaming are ace, Fnatic take the advantage and are one step closer to a semi-final spot.
Great decisive mid-game there from Fnatic. Yellowstar and Co. making a huge turnaround.
And that is so key for Fnatic because they were on blue side in this game here. Every single team in playoffs, they picked the blue side. So it's supposed to be the stronger one. They get the first win on it. They had some target bans coming in this time.
Yep.
Obviously, we had EDG banning the Mordekais and Gangplank against Fnatic. They can change that for the next game. Maybe look towards Rainover even more and say, Lee's and Rek'Sai, we're gonna remove both of them from your pool.
So, AD carry Jace definitely did not work out
It
as
gets a
intended.
1 out of 10 in this game.
But let's also be honest, it was not
The judgment
necessarily...
Denmark here is harsh. I'll
Maybe
One
not
out of 10.
necessarily the reason they lost, because if they had not grouped and given up the lead at 23 minutes, played the map a little smarter...
Sure. Two very key things happened. First of all, Fnatic realized we don't have to try and make plays in the early game against all the globals.
Yeah.
So like they saved the cooldowns, flashes and everything to try and stay alive for as long as possible and always just chip away in the towers. And then, as you said, EDG were like, guys, we're winning because we're split pushing. Let's group. Let's go around mid lane and see what happens and instant engage Baron.
So here's one of the reasons why I just like the AD Kennen so much more as far as these novelty AD carry picks, because it's so important to have a safe AD carry that can lane and get CS while your support roams. Support roaming is so big here at the World Championship. Not the finals yet, at the World Championships. And we've seen the teams get punished so heavily for it already when, you know, Mako and Clearlove are separated. Big things happen for Fnatic.
And they made it happen, found the opportunity. Fnatic take the advantage in the series. We're going to head over to the analyst desk. They're standing by to take a look at that game.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm joined here by Jat and Freak to break down that very first game of Fnatic versus EDG. Whew, what a game it was. A fantastic game. Let's just start with that.
Absolutely. I mean, there were so many cool things going on here. We got to see triple teleport come out. That was interesting for sure. We got to see some really tenacious calls as well. The 21-minute semi-ace where Yellowstar makes the right call to go for Baron because the chance of a steal is actually quite low. A lot of very, very smart choices made this game.
A lot of stuff. So let's start by the early game and the picks that came out. Obviously the Jace AD carry, but maybe more surprising, all of the teleports. How did EDG use that to their advantage in the early game?
Yeah, so interestingly enough for EDG, the Jace teleport never actually teleported to make a positive play, so it played out mostly like a double teleport team with Twisted Fate. which still had a global advantage, and they mainly used the teleport bottom to try and keep map pressure on that side. You would have actually expected Fnatic to attack the teleporting AD carry since he had no second defensive summoner a little bit more early on in the game, but because that wasn't happening, EDG kept finding numbers advantages throughout the rest of the map.
And something for Fnatic, sorry to cut in, which is a change from sometimes the overconfident plays we see them making in the past couple of weeks. When it happened a couple of times that they got dove on with a couple of teleports, the next time they were careful and they waited it out.
I mean, yes and no. We actually saw a lot of kind of bad plays. There was the kill that was initially off screen, and the replay happened. Reignover chasing into a 1v2 under his own turret after Huni already got dived. Reignover's like, me too, I'll give you some kills. And the Koreans on Fnatic started out like 2-7 total or something like that. And a lot of that, to be honest, not to blame Huni for this one, but
Close to the gangplank, start trading really effectively in the early stages with them. So I think we might see Febiven take the gangplank to mid, and then you get a counter pick up top instead for Huni. But they can obviously change it. This is the good thing about flex picks and why they're so strong in the meta.
And if this Anivia gets locked in, by the way, everybody in Edward Gaming is a melee champion, with Thresh being the longest range on the list. So that Anivia could cause a ton of problems for the EDG roster.
Yeah, for the same reasons that Gangplank is fairly good against Mordekaiser, you know, all the AoE zone control, so is Anivia. But they decide to go for the Azir instead.
Okay. I think Kassadin is doing really well against a lot of these control mages.
Yeah, he can hop right over.
He can hop over it, he can sit early on and just try and kind of farm and sustain. He will get pushed into his tower. So we need to see if Febiven will just sit there and try and chip it away slowly but surely and get an advantage for Fnatic, but you don't normally roam that much on an Azir. And we get now this matchup up top, which is very explosive.
Also, it's so difficult when you give away Mordekaiser because it means you can't ignore these dragons. You can't ignore bottom side. EDG are obviously going to focus very heavily on that bottom side, try and get Mordekaiser ahead, and then that transitions very easily into taking dragons. And once he gets the pet, you get so much global gold from just shoving down turrets. Outer turrets are very easy to take with him.
We're seeing basically Fnatic saying, we don't need to shut you down in the laning phase. We want a super strong team fight against you. Azir can push him away. Again, he needs to get close with the 3 hits on his Q. You have the Gangplank, who's fantastic against Mordekaiser in lane, or in team fights because of that massive zone he can create.
Yeah, the other thing is I really like the combination of Gangplank and Vayne, because Gangplank can add the ultimate, allow Vayne to take her target down. So if someone overextends in the lane, especially Mordekaiser,
Gentlemen,
take him out.
Fnatic have gone for the team composition. Gangplank undefeated at Worlds. Mordekaiser undefeated at Worlds.
There can be only one!
There can be only one undefeated champion after this game. You need to let us know which it will be. It is game 2 of Fnatic versus EDG. And for the first time in 17 games, we see Mordekaiser and GP on the Rift.
And we see EDG, again, run a composition with very low wave clear. Not from the last game, but what we've seen in group stages, we've seen it back in the LPL. Look at their lineup right here. Who's going to clear the waves as they fall behind?
The thing is, they're not playing...
They're not planning to
of
fall
course
behind.
you never... Okay, I stopped myself. You're never planning on falling behind, but this is a team that relies so heavily on snowballing that if you fall behind anyway, then there's not even that much point in having wave clear because you're probably not going to come back anyway. So you all in on this strategy. You have the early game. You're going to try and snowball. You're going to try and get that Mordekaiser control. Fnatic, though, they're going to go in and get those deep boards down for the lane swap.
EDG got that lead in game 1. And if it wasn't for 3 Baron power plays that netted Fnatic plus 15,000 gold, they may not have come back into that game.
I feel like that was EDG trying to adapt to, to this new world meta that they've seen and that they've experienced, playing against Origin and seeing all these teleports. That is something that experience is crucial in, and they were unable to come up in the mid and late game calls and try and make that work out.
My question is just, did you have to fully commit to this style of we cannot fall behind no matter what because we have 0 wave clear? That Kassadin could have been a more safe choice, like a Victor, offering some wave clear by still having super strong side lanes with Fiora and the Mordekaiser.
Well, fully committing to the
Zoning.
tween turret farming. We'll call it mid-rift.
Mid-rift. Gonna get themselves the wave. Cora's gonna be holding hands with Clear Love. And as EDG's minion wave gets to the tower, Reckless and Yellowstar will be late to pushing that top lane. So let's see how much damage Mako and Deft can put down. Deft running with Flash Heal as opposed to Flash Exhaust that we've seen a couple other times from Mords.
So now, Fnatic knows that EDG started on the top side, or sorry, on their blue buff on the bottom lane, which means Febiven needs to be very careful how he's standing in lane. He needs to always lean towards the top side of the map because he's going to push the wave over and over and over in these swaps, and he cannot get roamed on by Clearlove and Mako and die.
Yeah, and I'd actually expect Yellowstar to actually help out in this jungling, you know, not doing a whole lot there, sitting in lane with Reckless, just kind of splitting experience there. It's fine for champions to split experience with Mordekaiser, because Mordekaiser will last hit the minions and gain the full experience. But Vayne definitely wants to have the solo lane to be able to try and keep up with them.
Obviously, EDG investing into the fast push, the one we've seen a lot, the old European lane swap now become the meta.
Western.
The Western, fair enough. You'll get that one as well. But for Fnatic, you have a Vayne. Normally, you prefer longer lane swaps, so you can sit and farm, get some solo experience. You want to farm up to get your Cutlass or at least some lifesteal. The quick push is not always the greatest for you, but you do benefit from having 800 gold because you get that one lifesteal item compared to an average player on a standard 80 carry. Mordekaiser, though, is probably going to build towards the Ryle Eyes as his first item, not getting any gold, giving everything over to Koro. Another change.
Yep, they give the freeze, they give the full tower gold to him. And they've dropped off the deep wards as well before they left. Now swapping Mordekaiser up top. Fnatic should be able to get this turret down in time, though.
EDG playing around Koro after he's been substituted in place of Amazing J. Huni will get the local gold. To deny several minions. And that means Huni and Koro both sitting pretty. Thorn's going to get a decent trade here with Febiven, but almost every time Thorn does, Febiven looks to get some Sand Soldiers attacks back. This time, he'll take a much worse trade.
Because EDG got the early swap, though, because they got the 20 seconds advantage, this is going to mean a pretty decent freeze down there for Koro. Looks like Reckless is going to go try and answer it, though. Try and break it as quickly as possible.
So Koro knows that Fnatic is going to send that bottom lane down here, so that's why he can't stay for very long. What some top laners like to do is just push as many minions as possible right here, knowing he's going to get zoned away now anyway, because what Fnatic can do now is they can threaten a tower dive on Koro. Once this massive wave hits the bot lane tower, Huni can teleport down and 4v1 dive him, give another tower over to Huni and give him massive gold.
Both sides can do that, though.
The problem is Huni is so far back.
Right
yeah,
now.
but Huni is ready for this one. Look how far back he's on the map.
Koro is actually
now is running,
taking his time getting out.
Fnatic had a small opening to commit instantly, but then Koro already started running away. So both top laners are reading the situation. They don't want to risk getting killed on their own turret, and don't want to be greedy for these massive minion waves here.
Managing to stay alive. Huni's grabbed himself an early Avarice Blade. You can see Deft and Mako pushing up in the top lane, and the big stack for Fnatic pushing down bottom.
So this right here is actually why I prefer the top laner to stay in lane a little bit longer before he recalls at first. So he can push a few minions and then go back to base because he's gonna get zoned anyway. He's doing nothing right now other than try and get some experience from these minions, so he's gonna be forced away. Had he stayed when the tower died, pushed in the wave, or at least looked at where Fnatic was sending Huni, once he knew he was gonna be on top side, push in the wave, then recall, you get more gold, you get more experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he's kind of denied himself a little bit, but Huni is obviously the same situation.
Yeah, and it does mean a lot to lane swap and deny Gangplank, because Gangplank's gold income is very snowbally because of the Q and because of the extra gold that you accumulate. Enables you to earn gold quicker. Keeping him off that Trinity Force for as long as possible is definitely very important for EDG. So they've stunted his growth a bit. Trying to keep up, though, with the early Avarice buy.
Yeah, and a difference here from the teams. EDG didn't manage to bounce the top wave after they killed tower, so that is slowly, very, very slowly pushing down towards Huni, and he can stay in the lane and get experience. Bottom side is very heavily pushing towards Reckless on his side, so the Mordekaiser now needs to
up
overextend.
top they're actually making a move on Huni, as you mentioned it. There are wards only for EDG here.
Huni's in so much trouble. He does not manage to flash away. He's going to get the movement speed buff. They get a little bit more burst from his passive. And here is Yellowstar. The Unbreakable is not going to be used just yet, and Yellowstar's in trouble. He's now in full retreat. They'll find the support to Febiven, and First Blood really easily picked up by EDG.
Yeah, if you're going to commit that far out into a long lane, you have to first get your defensive vision, and Fnatic fairly slow in setting that up. Great punish there by EDG. going deep on the red side.
Great move and a mistake from Fnatic not having backup for Huni, but he can go bottom lane now and pick up this big wave anyway and get more experience and farm. Fnatic keeps sending Reckless to the lane where Koro is. It's like, we don't want the one-on-one right now because Huni has fallen behind in experience. We want to keep bullying you and force your way so you can see Koro is now farming the Gromp on his own to get something, and Huni's here getting the farm, and this time Fnatic realizes we need to have backup. Rainova shows up and then body slams randomly a minute.
Well, Death Sentence does get connected by Mako into a flay, and Deft and Mako are going to back themselves out. A lot of HP already secured there for Deft, and Reckless has farmed up to the Cutlass. Still pushing out that top wave, but it'll get risky if they continue to stick around. And Dragon number 1. Let's see what EDG can do with their very first secure.
So here's
Mid.
where we might see a problem with the Cassidy when it comes to pushing in these towers, but a lot of damage.
That
on
mid
the
turret is
Vivian.
going to die when the Dragon Ghost comes over then.
Here comes
If they force the Vivian back, I mean, he does have teleport,
They
but
need to do it very, very quickly if they want to hold it, but I don't know if they can.
very, very good trades though in the mid lane. It's what the Cassidy can do, especially after level 6. He can out-sustain you and keep trading. Dragon has no minions though. Just be able to deal a little bit of damage for now.
Look at the top lane, Reckless and Yellow Star. They're going to be dancing with Koro. Teleport comes out for Febiven. And in actual fact, Reckless and Yellow, they play it safe.
Yep.
They back themselves out. TP, I think the threat was enough to thwart at least Deft's presence. And they're going to sacrifice the Ghost of Dragon Pass.
you get the last hit though.
Let's take a look. Run away!
Oh!
That should give a dragon buff, just to balance out Mordecai.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What? Interesting concept of the show.
Hey, you killed the dragon.
Yeah. Should get a Dragon's reward.
Well, it is an undead dragon, so maybe the buff is only secured from its life essence, not death essence. EDG going to group themselves up in this middle lane. Corners move down to the bottom. Makings of that Rod of Ages. Does have teleport available, as does Koro, as does Huni. So the only TP down is Febiven from his previous defense.
Huni is still behind in experience because he died up there. Fnatic tried to leave him in lane to get as much farm before recalling with him and catch that big wave on bot side. He just lost a little bit more for it, and Koro got a kill as well, which of course is huge in the early game.
Yeah, and again, the ramping nature of Gangplank's income here, they've really been able to set him behind. Only 81 gold off of the parlay, 131 off the Avarice, so even the Avarice doing actually more work. There have been so few minion kills by Huni, and the passive tick doing work.
And now the key thing for Fnatic is always try and get the wave pushing in the mid lane where you have Febiven sitting. You can go for the Nashos, of course, as the first item on his Azir, and he needs to defend this tower, because once that breaks, that opens up for EDG to start getting into the jungle of Fnatic very easily. They can do it already now, but at least Fnatic will spot them with some defensive wards. It just makes it a bit easier for EDG. Once the tower drops, next dragon might be the go-to signal, because again, the siege without a dragon for EDG is horrible. It's all melee champions. I mean, they have to walk straight into the tower and start hitting it. That's not going to work.
Wow, all the siege being horrible hasn't stopped other Mordekaiser teams from picking up victories.
As long as you get the dragon.
It's the key, the crux of it.
Another key is that Huni now finally has gotten level 6. That experience soaking at the bottom turret that you're talking about definitely rewards them. You know, cross-map wave clear there every once in a while for the Gangplank ultimate. Since he's under-leveled, it's not going to do home much in the team fights, but definitely going to help out with wave control.
And we talked earlier about how Vayne as well needs to get a solo lane. Get some experience going for yourself. Get that Blade of the Ruined King. So because Fnatic had him sitting on top side, Reckless that is, with no teleport, honestly, EDG could have pressured this mid tower a lot more. More deep vision coming in. You have double teleport and Def was sitting mid. Get down this tower.
Yeah, the ward placement pretty much tells everything of where they want to work off of here. Double pink wards up on top for Def. EDG going to clear one out right now, though. We are going to see the first instance of Reckless versus Deft. Vayne into Mordekaiser right now. Braum Vayne definitely can chase him down, but it's going to be about global pressure as well.
And what's so exciting, oh, a little bit of the taunt there from Koro. What's so exciting about this Def v Reckless matchup that is setting up is now second game in a row, 2 completely different AD carries for both players. And we need to see whether or not Reckless can still pull off Vayne. He was known for Vayne 2 years ago when he was progressing through the amateur scene, but has not been relied on have played that in at least the recent years.
He was the big carry in Fnatic 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Almost everything they did was go and build comps around Reckless, let him carry these fights. Then he joins Alliance, he tried to do the same, didn't really work out for him. He returned to Fnatic and now have Huni in the top lane, and the whole game plan is different.
Yeah, EDG really playing their game plan very well here, though. They've kept up the pressure on all the side lanes. They're trying to close the noose here now on mid lane. It's up to Fnatic to put down defensive wards, because a lot of the movement is going to be between Fnatic jungle, between the lanes here. And EDG are passing through wards ever so slightly here, so Fnatic can see and make the proper adjustments to defend.
Only thing I would have liked to see from EDG was just put more pressure on this mid tower and threaten a dive against February. Force him to always take a very fast step back so he can't start instant clearing the waves, because that's what stops EDG from getting damage on the tower. Whenever Vayne is sitting in the side lane, she's not doing anything. She's stuck there. She's going to sit there forever and do nothing else than farm, so you have a numbers advantage in the mid lane. Go and put all that pressure on February and force them away, take that mid tower.
You have to, while Mordekaiser is good at pulling off tower dives, you have to be so careful thinking about the displacement that Fnatic have. The Azir ultimate, the Gragas ultimate, and Gangplank
got the
Global.
walls, though.
That is really, really difficult to pull off.
They have good vision though.
And that vision may allow EDG the pressure. Ooh, that's a Fisher you've been talking about. Putting some threat on this tower with 30 seconds until the dragon spawns.
And look at the difference here, how far back February has to stand before he can start clearing the wave, just by EDG sending 3 guys into the mid lane. He runs all the way back behind his tower, they get a little bit of damage, a little bit of poke onto him, and they keep the pressure going, because you can see everything with these deep wards. EDG is a team, once they get the map control, they can take over the entire map and then keep it, because they have so much deep vision.
Wants to, and I'd even go further and say they have to, because remember how hard they've committed to this style. 7 seconds left on the dragon coming up. I think that they've done enough to secure this one. That vision you're talking about should enable them to take it fairly freely. And the turret in middle being so low, this might be the last thing to knock it over.
This is all they were waiting for. Chip away in mid tower, keep a bit of pressure on it, take that dragon, go and secure the tower, push Fnatic even further back. Reckless does not have a Blade of the Ruined King yet, even though he's been sitting and trying to farm these side lanes so often. And EDG really showing why Mordekaiser with his early pressure can be so deadly. Once the tower goes down, Fnatic is here to try and defend it. There with 4 members.
Well, Unbreakable will block those dragon auto attacks, and the dragon is getting chunked. Death Sentence finds Reckless, but there's no follow-up, and the dragon should drop shortly. Hold up there as Koro is challenging Huni to a duel. Flash away from Huni, flash forward for Koro. The cannon barrage comes down, and Huni does stay alive. They trade ultimates and flashes, but that's a big loss for Huni.
Koro not able to finish. Trade flashes though, and Huni can still stay back. But the way Deft uses the dragon here, I really disagree. Once there's no minions, don't just rush the dragon into the tower, because you're just gonna get it killed. It has enough time. You can wait for another wave, use it then to get some damage on tower while they have to clear the waves. Not just suicide before dragons.
It's inhumane and it's wasteful.
We don't like it.
You're not meant to smile off of that statement, Kobe.
We protect our dragons here.
Well, unfortunately, EDG do not at this stage. At this stage, rather. Deft has got himself that Ryleigh's Crystal Scepter. A couple of key items have been picked up. 600 gold in Reckless's back pocket, getting closer to that Blade of the Ruined King. Huni as well. GP asks the one question, do I have Trinity Force?
I'm so excited for the first team fight, by the way, between these two. I want to see if Deft is going to be able to pull off a flash third bonk charge of his Q to actually be effective, because it looks fairly difficult. Let's go over the zone control. I talked about that being the #1 thing against Mordekaiser. It's ridiculous. Gangplank, 2 forms. Gragas, 2 forms. Azir, 2 forms. Braum, 2 forms as well. So it's going to be so hard for Deft to navigate, and we'll see if he actually can separate himself from a run-of-the-mill Mordekaiser, or if he is an expert.
The last time we saw this exact matchup was Wild Turtle against Imp. And Imp walked into the third bonk, disrespecting the melee range. So Reckless needs to be a lot more wary, knowing how Reckless has played team fights recently.
Yeah,
The
and
theory should be Reckless. The theory.
I say, I'm looking for Mordekaiser to differentiate himself. However, it is a lot due to the team. The team's got to set him up. Mako on the Thresh.
Sure.
We keep highlighting Thresh, how important it is for playmaking for these guys. Mako, a lot of weight on his shoulders to come up big.
And he's not been doing a whole lot in this game, even though he's had full control of the Fnatic jungle for such a long time. We haven't really seen him commit to anything. Showed up mid once, and that was about it. But also with this Mordekaiser, it's not like his damage late game is terrible. He can still really destroy you. It's just getting to these targets that's so difficult. EDG will have, instead, those so many members with a lot of mobility, like the Kassadin, like Fiora, that can get onto the backline of Fnatic. But the Vayne can kite and peel a lot for herself. So it's going to be so difficult for EDG in these big team fights, unless they can get a big tower advantage. And they're not doing it because February is just sitting here wave playing and they're doing nothing to pressure him away.
And that slower pace of game is so different from the previous match. By about this point last game, there was 11 kills on the board and EDG had secured 8 of them. Admittedly, EDG have got 2 dragons already, which by this point last game there had been 1. So definitely prioritizing that aspect buff and using the cool that Mordekaiser can provide.
Yeah, and it's funny, this time around, it's Fnatic who need to have a lot more precision in their execution to be able to pull this one off. Yes, they have a lot of tools to make this happen, but if you miss one of those very important ultimate abilities...
Miss a barrel in a big team fight.
And you get a bonk in the face.
Cannot happen for Fnatic, but for now, they have been able to just keep it somewhat close in gold due to the fact that EDG are always waiting for dragons to respawn. They want to play that 5-dragon game as well at the same time.
Not quite sure if people think that's annoying to call it bonk, but that's Mace of Spades. I'll stop that from now on. You'll know why when you hear the noise, though.
Minute and a half till the next dragon. Yellow Star was very brave and cleared out that pink ward near the mid lane river a minute or 2 ago. And there is a ward just behind that dragon pit for Fnatic with teleports available. So let's see if Fnatic decide dragon number 3 is the one they want to contest. Can't give away that movement speed buff. But another half-hearted attempt to push that middle tower.
That is feeding him farm.
Well, yeah. Another reason why we are seeing so much trepidation here is because these teams are not used to getting these champions. I mean, you don't play very many games where you actually do have Mordekaiser and Gangplank both in there. And EDG actually, the slower pace here is working fairly heavily against them.
I want to see where Mooney upgrades his cannon barrage. I think he's got enough serpents for at least level 1. And also whether or not he's learned to play around those barrel mechanics slightly more effectively. It is fire at will at level 1. Something that was not what he did last time. Death's Daughter was the preferred 5/15 upgrade.
So it depends on what you want to do with the Gangplank. Death's Daughter is better for the one-on-one, the instant damage on one target. Fight was better for the big team fight instead, where you can hit multiple times and use it as a zone.
Yeah, exactly. And since the name of the game here for Fnatic is to control the battlefield and the zones in it, definitely worthy upgrade there for Funi. Dragon number 3
could be your fight.
I'm so ready for this, Trevor.
Tell me what's going to happen based on where Fnatic is and their limited deep vision.
Well, I expect the fight actually to break out over wards rather than to break out over the dragon, because vision is so important for these teams. And for it to really spark with a hook landing. I mean, Pawn and Deft to go all in on somebody. You want to focus whoever one target as quickly as possible. It doesn't even really matter who it is. If you can burn one person down and get the ghost, you actually get the 6 versus 4 that people often complain about. That's where everything turns for EDG, trying to burst that person down, grab the ghost.
And look at what Fnatic is doing around the dragon. Look at their defensive pink wards, because they know there's a double teleport with 2 assassins basically that can flank and instantly kill your AD carry or your Azir in the back. So they have very, very defensive pings to stop that flank from happening. And now the trick for Fnatic is to keep pushing mid lane. Honestly, if you keep pushing mid down to this tower, the melee champion will be spotted sitting under that tower, and you can have full vision of where EDG is going on the map, and they cannot flank due to these defensive pink wards.
I also must say an important thing for Fnatic is not to all blow their ultimates at the same time. As soon as EDG initiate, they have to be careful. Because Fnatic have so many tools, they have to be careful not to overlap all of them.
But it is a good setup for now for Fnatic. EDG obviously is going to look to try and
to pick some bans. I do want to take a moment to clarify the situation and where we find ourselves. The issue that appeared in-game prevented Reignover from casting the Gragas Q spell. And the refereeing team, they did investigate and exhaust every single option to resolve the issue in-game, including allowing Gragas to die and attempt to resolve the matter. After the issue remained, Fnatic was then offered the opportunity to remake, which they accepted. That is, as per the rules, the remake will now include new picks and bans because team strategies were revealed, including playstyle. Gragas will remain enabled because of the popularity of the champion on the current patch, but we will state right now, if the bug does reappear, the champion will be disabled for the remainder of the tournament. So that is something just to keep in mind. We
It's
can only
a very
apologize.
rare bug.
It is, and we can only apologize to the teams, to everybody watching. The remake will be starting shortly with picks and bans. So let's shake this off and talk about Mordekaiser and, in my opinion, GP. Do we think teams are going to allow both of these champions to once again go through picks and bans?
Well, I mean, we saw from Fnatic, their bans were Lulu, Kalista, Tahm, Kench. If they want to do that again, I want to see Tahm, Kench, and Kalista being banned first and have that Lulu as the potential bait against EDG. But I also think for EDG, they saw the Gangplank, they saw the kite composition being built by Fnatic, so they knew, or now they know, Fnatic has an answer to the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and I think that if they did leave the Lulu up, then EDG would have changed their first pick and actually would have first picked the GP instead and not taken the Mordekaiser. You know, Mordekaiser into GP and Lulu is
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous.
So, Fnatic,
But there she finds herself on the ban list already.
yeah, Kennen as well for EDG. They banned Elise and then they banned Sivir last time around. Obviously, that is what left Mordekaiser and GP open, and for now, it is exactly the same. Fnatic now do not want to ban one of the two OPs. Oh, now they will, because Mordekaiser got banned. So now GP is what you want to ban away if you are Fnatic, and say, we don't want to risk it, but that does leave Tahm Kench open.
For Fnatic to potentially pick.
Well, for you. I'm not expecting a Tahm Kench first pick.
Last game was Rek'Sai, first pick, when Elise was off the table.
I mean, Fnatic got to make the decision now. Do we have a composition we want to run against the Gangplank? Then we banned the Tahm Kench now. We gave them first pick.
I don't
GP.
think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can give away Gangplank without getting one back.
Been super risky, at least. But again, this is a team that is not afraid of taking chances. Rek'Sai would be the obvious first pick. Tahm Kench, yes, he's fantastic, but he does require a composition where it makes sense to pick him into.
Sound like a bit of a fanboy there, Deficio, of that champion. Fnatic now have the option to pick in two of their preferred. Hyper carries are still up and available, the likes of Jinx. Go over the tower pushing power of Tristana. Cannon away. Sivir's available. Fnatic could go Sivir and support.
So are Jinx and Caitlyn, which was also mentioned as being practiced by Deft fairly recently.
If you are Fnatic now, you might say we want to take some safe picks. We don't want to show too much. Then you go for Gragas here for Reyno and say we want to see more of your picks before we start building a composition. Or you take some of the safer top lanes we have seen being blind picked, Darius and Fiora and so on, for Huni up there. But he's shown he wants to play different kinds of top lanes.
And I would like to combo that Gragas with the Thresh if you are trying to try and keep your first round without giving much away. There is the Kenchi. All right, we got the Kench into Flame Chompers combo.
You get your Tahm
I'm so happy. The only problem is it's like 3 weeks too late. And
Yeah.
if I go on one of my Kobe rants on Tahm Kench, then people just
The
get
thing
annoyed.
is, I stole your
It's
notes
not
anyway,
new
and I already said everything you had prepared.
But
during the last
everybody
3 weeks.
wants to hear the Kobe rant, so we'll see how practiced Yellowstar is on this champion, because
Hey,
we've seen him
he played it before it was cool.
but
He
it
played
wasn't
it before
good.
it was buffed.
But it wasn't good.
Okay,
It
that's
really
fair,
was not good.
But
They lost that game.
you now had 4 more weeks or 5 weeks to practice even more. I think Jinx Tahm Kench is one of the best combos you can pick, because it gives Jinx that extra mobility in the late game that she needs to survive these team fights, and also in the laning phase, it's very hard to all in on a Jinx when Tahm Kench is next to her. He basically just makes almost every lane a farm lane because he stops that all in from happening. Could be there.
There's the, well, I was looking at the Caitlyn already
Yeah.
for the other side here. Picked up by Def, where, like we said, he's been practicing it fairly recently. We'll see if they actually end up in that 2 versus 2, because Caitlyn can try and bully them off. Jinx can switch to Rockets, though, and actually trade. So it definitely will be determined by the support pick.
Well, what do we have seen so far from teams when they play against Tahm Kench, because it's so fairly new? They pick some all-in comps, like, oh, we're gonna play like an Annie Kalista lane, and we're gonna try and all-in the AD carry. Tahm Kench eats in and says, no, that's not gonna happen. Caitlyn, on the other hand, is a lane where you're gonna push and push and push all the time. I think that's way better against Tahm Kench, because he doesn't offer any sustain for his AD carry outside of Relic Shield. So poke them down, poke them, don't all in. That's what Caitlyn offers.
And we're going to see the Riven for Huni. Ferbevin will secure Gragas once more for Reignover.
Interesting with the top lane carry here into the Fiora. This is going to be such an interesting skill match between Riven and Fiora. Once again, though, I think there may be a lane swap brewing.
I think there's a good chance we see Morgana as well, and us instantly just locked in
So
here.
this is what we were also talking about. When you have Caitlyn going for that siege, you want to combo it with something in the mid lane that really supplements the siege. And Veigar, we've already seen it many times by specifically the North American teams putting in a lot of time on that. But Pawn has been practicing it heavily in solo queue, and EDG will try, group up early, knock down the outer turrets, but also, while they're knocking down the outer turrets, fish for that binding, fish for that cage to try and get that pick. And yes, Tahm Kench can eat somebody out of a binding, but the cage blocks off a huge zone.
Still, Tahm Kench, to me, is a very good Veigar counter due to the fact he can remove that one-shot potential from
Front volley
happening.
burst.
However, EDG are not looking necessarily to one-shot someone. They're looking to zone you off your tower
Exactly.
and take your tower.
It's about the area
And
that you can control.
you cannot eat the tower. That doesn't work. That doesn't work.
Have you tried?
That was in your notes, Kobe, so I trust you now.
Well, Ferbevin's got a couple seconds left to lock in his counter. He's had great performances on LeBlanc, and we'll see whether or not he can get some early pressure against Veigar.
Here's the one thing. While I'm a huge Tahm Kench fan, he is not the all-in-one tank. He is not a hard engage tank. So it's actually fairly risky for you to try and engage with Tahm Kench and use the Abyssal Voyage. It's much better at cutting people off and sort of corralling people into a direction to control with the rest of your team.
This is a very mixed composition for Fnatic.
Yeah.
You got the Riven split push coming in. You want to assassinate someone with LeBlanc, and you want to have these big kiting team fights with the Jinx Tahm Kench. So it's a bit of everything for them. The problem is if they want a 1-3-1, Jinx wave play in the mid lane. Again, she needs to get in there with the rockets. She can't clear really far away from.
Yeah, the thing is, I want to reiterate this one more time. It's a bit of everything except for a really hard engage. They would have to have Flash with Riven or some crazy Gragas ultimate, because if Tahm Kench Abyssal Voyage into the back line, he gets stunned with whoever he brings.
And he wants to be in the back with his AD carry.
Exactly. If you put up the cage, you can stun them both. He can't save anyone if he's stunned as well. He has to get his own Merc Treads. He has to get some sort of QSS or McHale's or something to pull that off.
Luckily, on the side of Fnatic, they have shown a penchant for engaging at the right time in the right place, and they'll need to keep that up. Guys, this is the remade game 2 of this best of 5. Hashtag EDG win with that Veigar mid, or hashtag FNC win. The Yellow Star will get his hands on the Tahm Kench. Vision and flanking going to be so important for Fnatic. They've done it in the past when Huni has played Riven. They've shown they have an ability to get him to TP into the jungle and hop over walls. And they may need to do that again to get behind that baby cage that Veigar can put down.
Yeah, the early game is so key in this matchup. When you have a siege composition, if they do well in the laning phase and get to rotate the AD carry into mid and start this siege on your tower, there's often very few answers other than like a TP flank happening. If that fails, you fall so far behind. But the same can be said for EDG here with their comp. If they start losing lanes to Riven and LeBlanc, the crazy pick potential for Fnatic can just run over them.
And this is the thing, Jinx can take a turret very quickly, so Fnatic can trade objectives fairly efficiently as well. Face checking here.
This is
Get
risky.
the deep wards. They've been seen coming in.
And Fnatic did a similar thing in the previous game. EDG have adapted.
They're gonna get Reckless and Yellow Star.
Oh, it's got to pay off.
Tremor Sense is showing 2 members of Fnatic nearby. EDG very patient.
They saw the ping on 2 guys with the Rek'Sai, so they know it's not 5 members running from Fnatic, but EDG is still
A brush with death there.
not gonna pull the trigger.
And they escape.
Fnatic get
Maybe they are-
deep
I don't
wards
know if
down. They know the wards are in place, so EDG,
I want to shout out to my boy Freak.
are they going to look for the lane swap, or will they use the warding information to dance around?
Okay,
the vision?
so basically, yeah, as you just said here, they want to dance around where the wards are being placed. It's often the same ward placement you see when these invades happen. 3 of them down to block every entrance towards the lane, so Fnatic didn't spot them. Sneak up there, but so it's going to be a 2v2 top. Huni gets his one-on-one down the bottom lane as well, so we have these insanely snowballing matchups between a Fiora and a Riven, where the first gank can basically decide the entire early to mid game between these two guys.
Meanwhile, look at this huge advantage here. Tom Kench absolutely annihilates Krugs there with the giant AoE, and they're going to be a camp up. Caitlyn likes to start shoving the wave, though, so Def tried to get there as soon as possible, auto-attacking the wave. You charge up your headshot every time, obviously, your headshot is charged up. Look for your harass trade. Mako lands the first binding, but Yellow Star says, nope.
We're going to see that a lot, I feel.
Yes. Def and Mako are more looking just to poke with the double range against them than all-inning. What you normally could do with Caitlyn Morgana is you land the binding, follow up with a trap, and someone is stuck for such a long time. Another small thing, notice here Reignover, he started on the top side of the map, so he's going to path down towards the bottom side. That's going to apply pressure on Koro if he's going to push his lane.
Yep, it's all about that minion wave control up top. When you have control as a Caitlyn lane, especially with Morgana at your back, you can be extremely aggressive, just like Huni.
Really bad trade by Koro right here. He walks in into stun range of Huni, then uses his block basically for nothing. It's an instant ability, obviously, for Huni with the stun. You have to be super, super, super quick on a few.
Exactly.
Close to impossible for him to pull off here, and he really failed it big time.
Koro's backed, picked up some wards, and a pot is now under CS from Huni, but the wave is pushing towards Koro, so Huni going to be needing to overextend, but luckily Clearlove is on the complete opposite end of the map.
Yeah, even though that trade evens up teleports, Huni's got such an experience advantage here working with it. He will also probably be able to go up and clear out that pink ward that Koro placed in the tri-bush. So that while the giant wave is there, so that would be some extra value added. Pretty deep ward here on the Wraith camp as well. Clearlove was able to get a little bit of deep vision over on Reignover's side, and that will be the next camp that Reignover goes to. So EDG will have information on Reignover's whereabouts fairly shortly.
Well, we get a good start for Huni in the bottom lane. Top, again, is what we mentioned, how you can keep pushing it in. If you are the Caitlyn Morgana lane, just keep trading. 2v1 against both Tom Kench and then the Jinx, and it's hard then to reply if you are Fnatic. And really also with this Morgana pick, it's funny because a lot of these champions for EDG that I haven't shown before in this tournament, they have been spamming them in solo queue. Morgana was there for Mako, Caitlyn for Def, Veigar as well in the mid lane, and this is gonna happen over and over. And Rek is a little bit confused.
Small miss, small miss. Aim small, miss small. We'll see if Reckless can find his aim later on. Reignover spotting Clearlove in the jungle will give some information. Huni actually gets caught up by that riposte.
Another matchup I want to touch on is that mid lane because Veigar is such a game changer. If you allow him to stack up early, and the only way to disallow him from stacking up early is to force him to trade in lane and go for those aggressive moves here. Fabivin on LeBlanc, on the Assassin, has the ability to do that and try and go aggressively. You can see already, Pawn even expends his early teleport in mid lane defensively just to pick up more magic resistance so that he can try and use more of his mana for stacking up the ability power.
Reckless is playing Let's Catch the Dark Binding game. Almost every time we peek our eyes up here, Reckless is being saved by Yellow Star. That mana pool slowly burning away. And of course, Reckless losing out on CS. Huni is now once again going aggressive. Trying to use those broken wings to his advantage, and Koro sidesteps the second proc, does not sidestep the third. The shield comes up from Huni, and the key strike will at least delay the rest of that trade.
Fnatic needs to do something about the top lane, though. Even though they're not dying, they're down in CS, and their tower is already taking about 40% damage up there, because again, EDG keep pushing it down. Huni's trying his best on the bottom side, but Clearlove is showing now.
Yeah, you say that though, but as a jungler, it's really difficult to gank a heavy poking lane that's got your lane under turret because of the minion advantage and because of the distance that you have to gain. Meanwhile, when solo laners trade like this, there's blood in the water. Junglers are like sharks.
Sure.
You're attracted very heavily by melee champions in long solo lanes trading like this.
And I don't think Fnatic necessarily had to go top to make a play. I think they need to make a play elsewhere on the map to force EDG's hand and say, we are now winning on the other side, so if you keep this 2v2 lane going for too long, our top laner will snowball ahead of yours, and that can force EDG then to make a trade and swap it around and stop this push from going on.
Clearlove's Tremor Sense just caught some footsteps from Reignover as he approached that tri-bush. So information is available. You can see Febiven's also left his lane. If Koro sticks around, they're going for a dive.
And this is what I like. Now Fnatic are saying, we're going to snowball Huni even further. So EDG, you cannot just sit in 2v2 top because your top lane will fall behind. Clearlove has spotted it. We have a roam from Veigar as well. 3 guys on bottom side soon.
Koro, he does have his grand challenge. He's used it on a level 4 Reignover. Flash away from Koro keeps him alive. Huni will take a turret shot for his troubles. He'll able to thwart the gank at the cost of Ignite for Flash and time in the mid lane from Febiven.
Yeah, and now Hunia here is actually going to have to back off. He's got 3 people there. Even though that was an unsuccessful gank as far as coming up with a kill, Koro's going to have to expend his teleport once again. So you talk about, doing something about this top side. There's a deep ward here in the brush. Huni may have teleport advantage if Koro feels pressured enough to use it to get back to lane again. And the way the Fnatic, made their stamp, made their name with big Huni teleport plays, there could be an opportunity. The ward is expired.
Just died.
I took too long talking about it, and Koro took too long teleporting back to
The point
mid.
is still valid.
Really key though
If they could get another ward.
for EDG that Rek'Sai was sitting in that bush or in the jungle of Fnatic, spotted, of course, Reynova moving down, so they knew, okay, the dive is about to happen, LeBlanco's missing in the mid lane, and that's why they could react and defend Koro. Otherwise, it would have been a 3v1 and he would have died super quick.
I have to say, though, this top lane CS of the duo lanes is just outstanding. Deft is destroying Reckless and Yellow Star up in the top side. Really punishing.
And this was why EDG was sitting in the bush, hiding at level 1. Didn't want to risk going for an all-lane and try and get it first, but they wanted to dodge around the wards to try and force a 2v2 lane with Caitlyn. She's one of these champions, if she doesn't get the 2v2, it gets to be a bully. She becomes so useless in the mid game and just have very low impact before she hits the late game items. So this was exactly what EDG wanted for that lane.
And EDG seem quite happy to play for the long game. Pawn's first pickup is Mercury Treads at 9 minutes. He's held onto his TP, but Reynova, he's found Mako. Mako, this is brave. Abyssal Voyage will allow Yellow Star to get in range of Mako. Will they flash over? No. Happy to get the flash out of Morgana.
Okay, so while EDG are winning the duo lane, Fnatic are destroying the solo lane on the other side of the map, the long lane with Huni here. And that is extremely volatile because Riven has so much kill pressure. I would expect, again, more jungler attention down there because if you can free up that solo laner, then you free up a teleport gank. A jungler ganking is one thing, but if that solo laner ganking with a teleport can completely turn around and destroy a 2 versus 2 lane.
It's basically been the reason their aggressive 2v2 lanes have kind of died out, because if you do go all in, enemy top laner comes in from behind and kills you, and it suddenly backfires completely because of all the teleports in the game. There's a lot of the very aggressive AD carries that are a little bit unhappy with that state because they want to be able to kill that lane 2v2, but that's not happening very often in this meta.
Fnatic right now setting up towards this bottom lane. Again, Febiven and Reynova showing face. Huni's got a minion wave to play with, and I think they're going to turn their attention onto Koro. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Grand Challenge comes down, Body Slam connects. Koro will get dropped, and it's first blood to Fnatic, but Born will teleport in and get himself one back. Huni's on the way out. We'll have that broken wing slash to get more. Huni does get dropped by Clearlove. It's a messy fight so far, 2 for 2, and it's jungler on mid lane action. Febiven with double buff gets a triple kill. Gets out.
Again, Fnatic, they return to the point of power, try and make the proactive play there. And again, Huni's teleports up. Look, a deep ward in the side brush. Huni revives in 10 seconds. He could teleport right up there and try and turn that around. There's no flash on Morgana because they caught her out in the jungle.
And again, this is exactly what Fnatic wants to do. When you have a losing lane one side of the map, you gotta make plays on the other side if you can't gank the one. They go for Koro, 3 guys moving down. EDG, once again, they read the situation, but they're reacting a lot later because they didn't see Fnatic as early as they did before with the first dive. Febiven plays one really well. He knows he can take down Clearlove in the end, so stays very close and almost baits him to just stay and fight him.
Man,
solo
away
the last auto.
jungler, that's not fair.
Managed to make it work. Febiven completes his Sorcerer Shoes and Morella Nomicon. 30 CS advantage for Huni and a level advantage, but no teleport top just yet.
With the deep wards here as well by Febiven. This one on the red. It's one of the great things about Tahm Kench as well. My first experience with them was meeting one in solo queue and double counter jungling the enemy. Tahm Kench can devour something while activating his Q. Oh, here we go for another move.
Maybe just to farm and defend tower.
Do they have a Huni teleport? There's so many wards for Huni to teleport on. And he shoved him in. Looks like they're going to dive first.
Seems to me like Huni doesn't want to waste time.
They're going to dive the dive bottom again first.
He's going for Koro. He's in trouble. The chain. Wow.
Okay, now he's free to go up top.
Okay, 3 times now. When is he going top, Kobe?
I don't know. My stories have all fallen flat so far today. I'm not.
To be fair, if you are Huni and Fnatic, do you want to go and try and save a losing lane already?
Yeah,
or do
man.
you want to just keep killing
Look at them.
your
They're gonna
lane
get
opponent?
they're gonna get dove right now.
Well, they can just back away, give up this tower. Obviously, EDG is looking to swap Def now down to the bottom side and push another one. But that's where Fnatic are looking out to create picks with the Rivet, with the LeBlanc. We see how much they're roaming between the lanes. And every time EDG is stuck pushing a wave with both Morgana and Caitlyn, someone else on the map is dying. So far, it's been Coral.
Little misstep from Pawn as he misses 2 of the 4.
So in the end, the real difference there is just the kills that our Fnatic are picking up here, because they were able to get that turret on top for EDG. It's just that, Huni's actually gonna get the one down bottom and continue to push here. They also have such deep wards in the red side jungle to support Huni's split push.
That could be key, Kobe, because Huni, once he goes top side now, can TP down, because we know Deft is going to push this wave. He's already pinged
So
the
when
tower.
you say it, it's gonna happen.
I say it this time. So many
Deficio
wards for it.
always has to be right. Febiven's looking to clear this pink ward out, and Clearlove is just like, peace, nope, do not want none of that. Huni grabs a Scuttle Crab, a little bit of vision, and Reckless and Yellow Star uncontested. This is a free tower, in fact, as EDG have sent their resources down bottom.
Not exactly what EDG were looking for here. They wanted to have Coral on this top side already, but obviously him alone wouldn't have done a whole lot.
Yeah, it's another trade they're just opting for. Bottom side should be taken at the same time as well here for EDG.
But when you play that Caitlyn, you are supposed to get the tower advantage by you being able to push faster than push in the enemy AD carry and slowly take down the tower. Obviously, Jinx will take down the tower super quick once she gets to it.
Yeah, but they're not done pushing. EDG continue to pressure the inner turret. There are recalls from Fnatic.
Yellowstar can ult it down, remember.
And Huni's got teleport with a lot of wards to jump in. But they're opting not to pull that trigger yet. The range on Abyssal is still relatively low, and I think Yellowstar's peeling towards the middle top quadrant, so no more pressure on the bottom half.
EDG did get the 2 side lane turrets down. That's what you want to do with these siege comps here, especially when you play the Veigar. You want him to hit level 11, you group together with him in the mid lane, and you start sieging on that tower, because even if there is some sort of wave clear for Fnatic, that massive zone that Veigar is going to offer is going to force you back, and that's going to always give some damage to this tower. So Fever needs to be careful now. He knows a lot of people are coming, and he's the only wave in his mid lane. He has to dash into them. That's super risky.
Yeah, that's why we'll be looking for the flank, because again, this Fnatic squad has to be very careful with how they go about engaging. Huni needs to work with the fog of war. Riven is all about the flashy plays, coming in very quickly with the dash. So once Huni's flash comes back up, then maybe they'll look for one of those plays.
At least you need to have teleport ready, and when you know the siege is going to start happening, you need to have put wards in advance. So you have wards on the side of the mid lane. You can see the 2 here near the mid lane tower of EDG. That's something Fnatic could use to stop a potential siege from happening. And Huni, all in again, he's 2 levels above.
Yeah, big difference. That Bee of Sword helping out. Koro, I think, got a pretty good riposte there, but doesn't matter. Huni's got such a strong advantage. Just hit a 3-level lead for the time being, and as my math is completely horrible, it's 50, 60 CS advantage for Huni. And Reckless is even caught up in the bottom lane.
All right, well, let's see if he plays a bit more safe here. Definitely into his third. He should be fine. The other important factor in controlling vision, Deficio, that you point out, these mid laners, either one could one-shot the other if you're in the fog of war. So either one has the ability to 100% if you get that vision advantage. So there's going to be such a fight over the true sight, especially around these mid
And a
lanes.
fight in top again.
Cora's going low. Huni, that's a good pass trading. And Huni follows up. But they support Clear 11 Pawn, want to chase him down, and they will not.
A little bit hyped about the flash. In the end, it didn't do anything, and it died anyway. Look good, though.
Deficio, you sucked all the energy out. Yellowstar and Febiven get caught by the event horizon, and Pawn gets knocked into the waiting hands. The Super Mega Death Rocket signs his death warrant, and EDG are on the retreat. They've lost 2. They're mid-tower, and Fnatic are sieging the inner turret. It's not over yet. Teleport's coming in. Koro wants to play. The exhaust onto Febiven will keep his damage down and keep Deft alive and keep their tower alive for Boots.
So what's been happening in this mid lane here for Fnatic is that Febiven had full control of the lane. He keeps pushing it down, making it very easy for Fnatic to keep deep vision in the jungle and set up a dive like this and prevent EDG from ever grouping.
Honestly, what's happening is Huni wrecking Koro.
That's also happening. That's also happening. But look at the dive they can set up because they have all the control of this jungle onto. Beautiful setup, honestly, from Rain over him.
Yeah.
What do you do as a Veigar right here? Either you flash instantly, but it's a flash body slam happening. It's so hard to react to in time.
Yeah. All right.
Exhausted, and I don't think that Primordial Burst hit anybody either. So
Make it a
Fnatic,
body slam flash.
3,000 gold in the lead. They've got all outer turrets down. Dragon's going to be up in 30 seconds. And look at that ring of deep vision behind the Dragon.
Yeah, again, that's the problem now for EDG. They know these wards are going to be there because they've been pushed down in this mid lane for such a long time. Huni can now TP in behind them if Fnatic wants to fight for this one. He's TPing in now.
And he's
doing
TPing
it!
north.
Finally!
EDG are trying to retreat. Huni wants to cut them
he's
off.
gotta be careful.
He's not very tanky.
flash.
He does not want to be here. Grand challenge is onto Huni, and Deft actually gets knocked towards him. Huni's going to use those broken wings to get away, and he gets eaten. Yellow Star saves him. Another kill for Febiven before Huni gets dropped by Koro. Reinover's trying to get out, but he's trapped in the baby cage, and Pawn sends him back to base. Well, Febiven is dominating with another kill on Koro.
Yellow Star saved Huni, but then kept chasing Koro and spit Huni back out with like 50 life. So he died. But that'll be a two for two right there. All said and done, though, Fnatic still have control of the map. So even though it's a 2 for 2, even on kills, they get the objective afterwards. They shove the lane. Oh, actually, Reckless actually not going to start the Dragon there. Red Steel instead. Bit more risky.
Or
and
not.
now the Dragon's going to be very late, and Pawn does have teleport. Pawn's actually in lane already.
Deft actually manages to secure that one. Fnatic now a little maybe late to the Dragon. Ultimate's not available for everybody, but EDG are not in range to contest.
There's double ping wards for Fnatic, so it's hard for EDG to walk in and face check a fairly fed LeBlanc at this point. I mean, 6 kills in 19 minutes. It's very standard for me, at least, in solo queue. What we do see
The
from
Defistio
Fnatic,
special.
Oh, stay hungry, stay humble, my friend. Yellow Star is going to prevent the ace in the hole by just devouring Febiven.
Why block it when you can eat it?
And Deft will knock over the tower using that range of Caitlyn.
yeah, and this time around, no TP for Fnatic to stop the siege, but this is how you play against these siege compositions when you know it's going to happen. You need those wards beforehand, like Fnatic here. Huni goes in a little bit early, and because there's no hard engage for Fnatic, it's very difficult for him, and he does get saved at
Let's
first.
watch what actually. He spits him back out with a 50 HP. Yellow Star, thanks for the save.
They didn't even have time to shield right.
Shame.
Whoa, LeBlanc,
No.
LeBlanc killed Caitlyn. Talking about Febiven, he's got 7 now.
So, ouch. Deft 0.
Now it's fed. Now it's
Tell
fed.
us, Defistio, what exactly happened there. Give us the insight. QW.
I think there was some QW, maybe
QWR is
some
dead.
R in there.
Wow,
Oh!
Reinover's gonna find clear love. Defensive flash. Huni actually popped that ultimate. Didn't manage to follow through because Maiko found the Dark Binding. And Fnatic are now just playing really free and loose. They've got the freedom, they're far enough ahead, and there's not a lot of resistance that can come up yet. for
And I think
Fnatic.
with the momentum they have, with the amount of control that they've just gotten, this huge lead that Fnatic are building, they need to fortify that. They need to start getting up that vision now. Because if they close the loop on the vision and they black out the map here for EDG, then there's just almost no move for EDG. They have to just... and he burns to death. They have to just group up. EDG, this is a team that has to group up and try and use the poking, try and use the bindings and
Right.
cage to land.
And it's supposed to be fairly safe to get the outer turrets down. You know, you can have pink wards in the river yourself to try and avoid some of these deep wards that can flank you. Going for the tier 2 turrets becomes even harder now for EDG because they don't have the map control, because they are pretty far behind in gold. So they might rely more on Fnatic, misplaying a pick here, like Febiven goes too aggressive and dives on the tower and dies, and then EDG starts moving up towards the tier 2 towers.
Well, it's about 1 minute and 10 seconds before Huni's teleport is available, and the deep wards will need to be reset before Fnatic can look for a similar play.
This is often where we see teams lose their big leads when you have a team comp similar to this. What Fnatic need to do, all they have to do is keep EDG bottled up for long enough, they already have dragon stacking. They have 2 dragons already. Control the neutral objectives, and you continue to draw EDG out. Continue to make these picks. Continue to get the LeBlanc 100% to 0. Continue to get Huni isolated with Koro.
4-level difference between Koro and Huni right now. And nearly 100 CS. I believe that's called the Flame Horizon, if memory serves.
Yes, yes, sir. Now, one of the things Amazing J, the poor guy, was criticized for a lot, was dying like this against the enemy top laner. But funny enough, it's the same kind of setup, where the other team is sending 2, 3, 4 guys to dive him and kill him and shut him down, because top lane gets out of control very, very easily. We see here, EDG tried to defend Koro, but they were always a step behind, and therefore it's the same result. Top laner falls super far behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a which one came first, because he is also the reason Fnatic are sending people to dive him is because he's losing trades to Huni in lane, and Huni's pushing him under turret and prepping him to get destroyed.
What Fnatic also wants to do now, though, is prepping that Baron, because as a poke comp, if you have to face check in towards the Baron, you really hate it. Yellowstar, he's eating clear.
He is, but his Grey health is being burned through. The barrel pulls Maiko backwards, and a big AoE. Maiko's been tagged, and a quiet taste will not even be needed. Get excited with Reckless, and Feathervin cleans up. Fnatic find 3, and in a turret, and they can even go for Baron.
Fnatic just stayed around the Baron, then walked into the jungle, and EDG is trying to get control back. But when there's so many things that can just kill you so easily, and so much mobility on the side of Fnatic with Riven, LeBlanc, and even the top Kendrick can just walk in and eat you and spit you back. It is so difficult to regain that control. You were a siege comp. You were supposed to get a big tower advantage, and you got nothing.
All right, we'll take another look at it. You catch the catch. He's got 2 health bars here. So Grey health goes up, and teleports come down. Pond actually uses everything on the outside here. Forbidden just walks around, and all of Fnatic teleport in. They continue the pain train and crush EDG under the turret and take it afterwards as well. All right, now we have Minute.
What a game from Fnatic. They've got Baron now. Every single one of their lanes is winning, despite the trouble that Reckless and Yellowstar had early. They were able to put pressure on the side lanes, and they've got him relevant.
Well, if you have a losing 2v2 lane, Morgana Caitlyn, pretty hard to gank. Why not just go down and kill the Fiora over and over? You have Riven.
Well, when you put it that way.
I mean, come on, that's how the game is, right? You just go kill someone.
Split pushing with Baron buff taking effect here. Huge 10,000 almost gold lead here for Fnatic.
So, we have seen 3 new picks from Deft today. And I just have to say, the Jace, I didn't see anything I liked. He did nothing in that game. The Mordekaiser, his dragon control was terrible. I'll give him 1 out of 10 for that one as well.
Harsh.
So far, the Caitlyn, he did his job on the Caitlyn, to be fair. He pushed in the wave over and over, he got the tower.
So the champion you were the most excited about in terms of his solo queue prep this week is the one you're giving the highest ratings? Out of 10? What do we think?
I mean, he couldn't really do much else right, but he gets a 5 out of 10 for that one.
Okay, 5 out of 10 for
He gets
Caitlyn.
5 out of 10?
He took
Now,
2 towers down, his team is losing.
Huni has still got that 4-level advantage and pushing the bottom lane, gentlemen, while the rest of Fnatic are pushing the middle lane. I'd like to get the scoreboard here for Huni in a moment as Koro's got some help from Clear Love, but Feathervin's joined the fight. He's taken down the tower and is looking to kill Koro once more. The rest of Fnatic are going to focus down the inhibitor as Rainover gets caught up by a Dark Binding. Not going to be enough as the Wind Slash hits pretty high health targets. Not going to secure the kill. Reckless has got the tower in the mid lane. Inhibitor falls bottom. The base is breaking, and there's nothing EDG can do. One hit forces Deft to retreat. The Event Horizon comes down, and the Christmas presents look to be Fnatic's, as they are going to take a second inhibitor and get themselves out unscathed.
All due to the Tom Kench. Isn't that right, Coco?
Actually, it's all due to Riven. I said every time we see Riven's in the game.
So,
if that champion is in the game, go gank her.
Hey.
She's going to snowball one way or the other.
Huni had an okay start to the game, sure. But Feathervin, to me, really is the standout guy. First game as well, he had such a good performance. This one, he's roaming from the mid lane, he's pushing it down 24/7, walks down bottom lane, he's part of every single kill basically Fnatic. He's getting except for 2 kills I just noticed, but he's been part of almost everything else. And this guy is on fire this tournament. I would even say he's been the best performing mid laner in this tournament alone. Not saying he's the best in the world, but in this tournament, he's been looking fantastic.
Don't step on my territory there, Deficio. Featherfit doing
Do you want to say
great work at the moment. And as you mentioned, allowing Fnatic to continue pressing their advantage. Baron has worn off, and Fnatic are just grouping in the top lane. It is just a matter of time before they get to their third and final inhibitor. There's been no reservation, no hesitation, no signs of weakness for Fnatic this game.
Double pink.
There's a sign of weakness.
Yep, there we go, little mistake. Just wanted to test the strength of that baby cage. Featherfin's gonna eat the Primordial Burst and lose a major chunk of his hit points. But he does stay alive. Hooney's gonna pull enough threat to buy some time. The rest of Fnatic to at least look to take this tower down in what is still a 4 versus 5.
Yeah, I mean, Favin's not running teleport on LeBlanc, so Fnatic gonna take it fairly slow and easy here. 4 versus 5.
Oh wow, Yellowstar even pulls him out of the stun.
Just look at how Yellowstar's standing here. Whenever Reckless goes in to hit the tower, Yellowstar's just slightly behind him. So when the stun lands, it's only on Reckless, and then eats him, spits him out.
And what did I even say? He's got a Quicksilver Sash on Tahm Kench as well. So even if you land the double cage, Yellowstar can still get himself out and save whoever's next to him.
Well, we'll find out if Tahm Kench manages to make it through the rest of picks and bans. Def gets caught out. The Event Horizon will not be enough to kill Rainover, and Def is running away. A 3-man stun. Hooney's unable to push EDG back. The tower falls, so does Koro. Inhibitor number 3 is down. Fnatic have super minions looking towards the Nexus turrets, and they will drop the Nexus turrets. Fnatic rebound after a difficult start, and they will crush Edward Gaming. Nexus turret is a matter of time as Fnatic take the lead 2-0 and are 1 game away from a semi-final and a top 4 minimum at Worlds.
So EDG showed a new strategy trying to run a siege composition. I would like to hear the analyst desk talk, especially Spawn, about this one, because I remember when EDG came into MSI, we were watching some of their games, and when they tried to run like siege comps, it often didn't work for them at all. They never really had enough control on the map and would just get killed and get into big team fights. They tried to do it now. Obviously, we're talking try and force you to pick the Jinx at the same time by taking away your picks. And also EDG are potentially saving the last pick for Koro. We talked about how this Fiora matchup into Riven wasn't that great for him, also because he got ganked so many times. So they want to at least have the flex option of Kennen or go something completely different in that top lane.
A lot of pressure then for Koro in this last pick. He's had a difficult game to bounce back from, and mentality in the EDG camp will be something we'll have to look at. Hooney will once again get his hands on Riven. He had a 73 CS advantage at 20 minutes over Koro.
Yeah, Fnatic go hard here. 3 extremely strong carries in each lane here for Fnatic. Or 1 in each lane, obviously.
Thanks for clarifying. I would never have known that, Kobe. And it's going to be the Darius lock-in for Koro.
So it's a little bit of the same in terms of the matchup. I do think Darius is better in the early game, though, when it comes to punishing the Riven. However, the problem is when Fnatic pick a champion like Riven that can get out of control, they will camp for that champion. So it's not just Hooney 1v1ing someone, it's 2 or 3 guys coming down.
Also, you know, obviously I haven't been able to spy on them in scrims, but doing my best to spy on Koro in solo queue, is Darius has not been his best champion. Of the new ones trying to pick up, Darius has been one of the worst for him. And that's why they, I think, hesitated to pick it before this. But we'll see how he does into Hooney's Riven this time around. Obviously, you know, both of these junglers can have a huge effect.
And this is also a much more well-rounded combo around a Kassadin. Not like the one where they try to siege with 5 melee champions and so on, because you have wave clear on a Sivir, you have a fairly strong 2v2 lane because you have Kennen support and you have Darius up top, so you have strong side lanes to back up the Kassadin and prevent that siege in mid. That's going to be key for EDG.
The other key thing is trying to lock that Riven down. You know, CC is her biggest weakness. Lock her down and make her a reset for Darius. That's the key to their team fight.
And we'll find out whether or not Fnatic want to once again camp for Hooney, which has proved so successful. Will they be the first and only team to qualify for 3 World Championship semi-finals? Jump on Twitter with hashtag FNCWin. Or will EDG start the comeback here and now? It's game 3 of the quarterfinal.
Talking about lockdown, though, honestly, if I am Huni looking at this EDG lineup, I'm not scared. It's only a support Kennen that will get blown up really quickly and a small mini stun there to try and interrupt the combos.
But if you are Huni and looking at this EDG lineup, you might just fear for the life of your AD carry. Because the Darius and the Kassadin and so on are not going to be standing there hitting Huni. They're going to obviously try and jump past him, get onto Reckless, where his peel is going to be the Azir wall, though it's going to be the Alistar. So it's decent what Fnatic has built there to protect him. It's just not a Tahm Kench.
You're a much nicer top laner than I am. I think out only for number 1. I don't care about my AD carry. If they're diving my AD carry, that means I'm free to rip apart the rest of the Deficio team player.
Always.
Scumbag Kobe. Now Febiven is going to be once again facing off against Pawn. The last time we did see these two play, Pawn is able to get a little bit of a pressure advantage early on, managing to dance around those Sand Soldiers relatively effectively.
Yeah, it was definitely a good lane matchup for EDG. Definitely something that Fnatic have also shown is they continue to pick for the team rather than individual lane matchups.
And that's something a team has done for a very long time, in fact. They've come out and spoken publicly about it as well, where if players say they are not 100% comfortable, but for the team, for the strategy, for the play, it'll work. EDG walked over that ward, so Fnatic should be aware something is up.
Yeah, they saw the ward being placed 100%, and it's just EDG trying to scout where Fnatic is starting, so they can see, okay, if Reyno is starting on red buff here, where's he gonna path next? Obviously, what he has done before in these lane swaps is then you try and invade into the enemy jungle, but you can't do that in this case, at least for now, because it's the Mako and Deft company on the bottom side.
No invade there from Fnatic. They just kind of get the surprise lane swap on EDG, and they're able to get up there very quickly. Yellowstar with the invade to interrupt the double jungle here as well.
Wow.
Huge amount of extra damage taken.
We're going to use Exhaust. Real bothersome. Red buff. Let's see. Lost auto attack. Is Yellowstar going to steal it? No,
Might have
back
to use
away.
Flash to get out of here.
Yeah. Exhaust and Flash to delay what? 20 seconds? 30 seconds maybe?
Here's the thing. I really do like the support invades to delay jungle like that, because jungle and top lane are two of the biggest playmakers in the early stages of the game, because top lane is your teleport, jungler is the one working with Fog of War, moving around the map. So taking them both out, delaying them both, greatly reduces EDG's ability to make plays in the early stages of this game.
Make sure you leave before the buff dies, though. And a guy hits level 2. So
the execution is a different...
definitely a good job from Yellowstar at first, though, being annoying. We're going to see the fast push once again. EDG showed in the last game, also in the first game of today. They also want to opt into this lane swap strategy, and this is still the problem for Febiven. He's picking this matchup, Azir into Kassadin, knowing that he's going to struggle in lane, because Kassadin can out-sustain him with the flask and 3 potions and just keep trading kills into his face.
Pawn takes a lot of damage from that Sand Soldier, though. The Conquering Sand sending him forward. Reyno, but tried this gank before. This time hits the Brave Seeker. Once again, flashes, gets the knock-up, and will trade his Flash for Pawns.
We'll see if they can return, you know, before Flash comes back up, before Pawn gets level 6. Maybe now that will be enough to curb the aggression, but they would have to just plant that with a bunch of wards as well. Koro going to get solo gold.
Still a very good gank from Reynover, basically saying, we lost this lane matchup before, pre-level 6 Kassadin, we're gonna bully you. They saw 3 guys on the bottom side of the tower, so they weren't afraid of face-checking into the bush, even in the 2v2 against the level 3 Kassadin. So I like the gank for Reynover trading Flash, as long as he can return. Obviously it's the key thing, don't let him get level 6, jump away. But really for EDG, right now it's just about farm up your Kassadin in the mid lane, and then once we hit like 14 minutes, around that time, you swap him down to the side lane, you put Sivir in mid lane as the wave clear, and you just play this 1-3-1 setup again.
Yeah, not having Flash pre-6 in the mid lane for Kassadin completely changes the face of the entire lane. Pawn has to play so much more careful. He has to now use his Q mana cost on trying to get CS, and that greatly reduces the harassment. That's why I think vision around mid lane now is going to become extremely important. Febiven does have some already in place of his own, so...
And he's got support. Huni's already peeling back through his jungle. Reynover's hovering or shadowing off the bottom side of that river, and Huni not running the risk of getting dove up top. Just get spotted by Clear Love. They're going to do a little bit of a battle over this Murph Wolf. Clear Love should win out.
Right here, though, again, we see for the two top laners, Koro is very quickly to leave his lane, even though he might be able to get a few CS down there, where the wave is obviously going to bounce towards him and just trying to shove it back, because he knows Reckless is going to show up and push it back the other way anyway. He leaves instantly. Huni always stays, gets a few extra CS, and it can matter. It might just be, 2 minions total, but that experience can give you that one level up you need to beat him then later on.
What do we make of another trade? Top Fnatic tower for bottom EDG tower. Just straight up saying, you do you. Avarice Blade was picked up early by Deft to the second Dorans for Reckless.
Yeah, and you mentioned being greedy. Huni, once again, he's getting a little bit of experience here, gets into the range of the minions dying, but being greedy does have its costs sometimes. There's a teleport here, or there's a ward here they can teleport on, and Clear Love's already in place. It looks like seeing Rek'Sai is enough to dissuade EG from going for that tower dive. Or does it just delay it?
So it's not about clearing the ward. TP can still happen. Look at the positioning of Koro at his tier 2 tower. He's just waiting. And now Huni realizes, okay, I don't have backup anymore. Move away. EDG, though, if they pull the trigger instantly, we're talking again 20 seconds ago, they might have been able to force something of Huni, but that would have cost the TP here. Now, no flash in mid.
Yeah, they don't pull the trigger, though, and Fnatic go for the move mid.
The Flash Emperor's Divide sends Pawn to Rainover. Rainover's only level 4, though, and unable to get more damage down. Pawn can Rift Walk to safety. This will buy some time for tower damage, but they don't get the kill.
Again, they force him away. They make sure February can push this mid lane. And now with these outer turrets gone in the side lanes, I'm almost going to say that's going to favor Fnatic because of the fact that Darius is this low mobility
they're going to make the counterplay on bottom.
Huni is teleporting in for Koro. Flash comes out, followed by Yellow Star, and Fnatic should pick this one up real clean, real simple, and it's first blood to Huni.
I really like this play. Just very quickly got to talk about how getting these towers down, Darius with so little mobility, only has the flash, he's just stuck there. Fnatic instantly just capitalize and kill him.
The reason why Huni can't afford to play that aggressive is because Riven has not only 2 dashes, not only flash as Koro also does, but 2 dashes in her kit, very mobile, and he was looking to outplay that. So EDG don't pull the trigger, but they forget about the mirror play, the exact same play on the bottom side, and Koro gets himself even deeper into a hole. Huni had already, by the way, been able to leech half a level lead just from being in minion wave range, whereas Koro was not in range. So now he's just skyrocketing ahead. If they do meet up in the side lanes, it will be a massacre.
And because EDG, when they were trying to make this play on the top side, they hesitated. They were waiting and waiting and waiting. Rainover shows that, like, okay, guys, we're not going to go for the play. So that allowed Huni to get almost a full wave of experience. Just a difference in teams and how quick they are to pull the trigger, how confident they are in this play.
And the jungler as well. Because Rainover just did a drive-by, he went and did an extra camp. So all things, Fnatic really not wasting time.
And another
He already losing it.
good start here for Fnatic. If you step back and you look at EDG, Koro's gone back to this more tanky champion in Darius, substituted out in place of Amazing J, and EDG, they had a good start with that triple TP comp, but really it's been downhill from there. EDG just not challenging Fnatic just yet.
Koro is pretty screwed right now. He's been relegated to the jungler, the worst place for a top laner. Koro just trying to scavenge in EDG's jungle, and he is ridiculously far behind, trying to catch up here. But as you said, it's scary for him to extend in any lane.
It's always the problem about Darius is he's not really a split pusher. Because of the fact he cannot escape, he cannot really chase you down, he's a much better team fighter. So while EDG wants to 1-3-1, that's just to farm. They want to then group in together and fight with this comp here, pop that Sivir ulti, get to the backline of Fnatic. But if they start falling behind in these lanes here, especially if Huni once again gets going on this Riven, nobody can 1v1 him on the side of EDG. So that's a split pushing advantage for Fnatic, while February is sitting and just wave playing mid over and over.
Well, I like, again, the early Sightstone here from Rainover, trying to get vision to keep this lead that they have.
Again, calculated play from Fnatic, setting up around that dragon. We've got a numbers advantage down there. Good early game. 9 first bloods out of 9 games played. Fnatic really know how to get their players ahead when they pick a lane together.
Yeah, exactly. This lead that they have is transitioning into a big CS lead for Reckless as well. Because they have the advantage, they can rotate him over to the giant minion wave to pick that up. And he got a huge influx of cash recently. Now he's got the BF sword pushing up on secondary turret bottom. Fnatic also have the wards to back it up.
Huni should not be too greedy now though, because his team is making a play on the bottom side of the map. Kassadin is the swap we talked about earlier, how you put Sivir in mid to wave and defend with towers, and Kassadin goes to side lane. It's very difficult for him right now because of the fact Fnatic is already grouped and start pushing in on the tower. But that means Huni needs to be careful top because his team is on bottom side and he's doing a camp.
He's in trouble. Huni gets caught out and he's going to get dropped. Flashes over the wall. Broken wings out. Doesn't find the Baron wall. Manages to survive. Can Fnatic do the same thing down bottom? Pawn has been chunked to half HP. And the rest of Fnatic are sieging onto the tower.
That's the thick part of the wall.
Kobe, you're still stuck on that one. Fnatic get a bunch of autos onto that bottom inner turret. And Huni loses his flash for overextending. The dragon is still not secured yet, but Fnatic will now back away after having a little more time on that tower and a little more information.
And as a perfect example, you know, Darius is a champion who could not have made that escape. Riven, much easier to overextend and play greedy like that. Now that he doesn't have his flash, obviously, they're going to have to wait for wards to do that again. But the advantage has already been gained, and they're snowballing with it.
And we really just get to see, in a lane swap, it's so much more than just, okay, we killed the first tower, lane swap is over. No, it's the play's happening 5-6 minutes after again, because the way you set up the minion wave, the tower should push down. Can you get that TP play where before we kill the enemy top laner and so on? And Fnatic just executed that really well. Would still like to see Huni just back away from that top side. He likes to risk it and stay and say, oh, can I make a play
Gotta
here?
risk it for the biscuit, Devicio.
You gotta risk it for the dragon buff.
And Fnatic make it count. Take a look at this. Febiven, 20 CS advantage. Reckless, 10 CS advantage. Yes, Huni is down 10 CS, but he got that first blood. He's got some time, and he's actually still ahead in gold thanks to the towers.
And as I said, they've been funneling, you know, the large minion wave over to the other side, so the bank still coming in.
And the key thing for top laners here is not the gold. Right now is the experience. They're even at the moment, so despite Huni having to flash away. Nice trade in the mid lane though. Will become a problem for Febiven. These one-on-ones happening.
Speaking of CS leads, that early gank from Reignover really changed the face of that matchup.
The last time this played out was in that game that was remade. The only game where Fnatic did not score first blood. So as a team, they have 100% win rate officially when scoring first blood. Useless stat 101. EDG are grouped up in this middle lane. Got some pressure with their entire team here.
You're
gonna wave clear.
Siege with a Kassadin and Darius? Nice.
You have an auto attack reset of your W. That's crazy to see right there.
Siege.
Boom, W in the face.
Hashtag worth.
Problem for EDG was they had to use teleport back to lane in mid to defend the tower and then push it out. So now that split pushing component that was supposed to put pressure on Fnatic is not there.
I think it's a very clear point though there. EDG, they obviously know that they don't have much they can get outside of chasing somebody down with a Sivir ultimate in open ground. This is a Stampede comp, that's what they have to do. So Fnatic, they also know this, they're playing around it while they're waiting for people to go purchase items. They just play defensively at the turrets. They know that there's not really a big threat of EDG, even in a 4-person siege, getting much done.
Febiven manages to get his way to safety thanks to those shifting sands. But with 14 minutes in, only a single kill on the board. Again, a slower pace to the early game. Huni is nowhere near as far ahead as he was in the previous game. And despite the early pains on Toro, he's still 8 in CS, he's still even on levels, he's still relevant in this game. So EDG are going to have the option to Stampede if they can find the right vision and the right position on the map.
Still, no teleport for them at the moment, so Fnatic can send someone down to catch the wave at the tier 2 tower. It's hard for them to push as well due to the fact Deft has so much wave clear. So again, we see how EDG really wants to position on the map. 2 side lanes being pushed in with double teleport, Sivir wave clear in mid, over and over, and then you collapse and you get the flank going with Darius and Kassadin. Fnatic should be able to ward against it very easily though, because if EDG are keeping the AD carry mid, they don't have really any pressure. So So it's hard for them to invade into the jungle of Fnatic without risking base checking and then get down these deep wards. That's why you see the jungle at the moment is almost empty of EDG wards. So they can't really collapse on Fnatic at the moment. Just have to sit back and try and farm because you have Form Spike behind.
Dragon's a few minutes away. Crowd is definitely anticipating the next move. 1,000 gold separates these teams. Farm looking better and better for EDG as that Rod of Age is slowly stacking up. It's a couple minutes late for Dawn, but not too terrible. Dragon's going to be about 3 minutes away. 2 minutes rather, as the clock just pops up. So let's see if EDG can set up any vision or look to challenge. They've got a couple of wards in that area.
Just got a few put in there. Fnatic do have the chance to go back and get some pink wards as well before it. But this push in the mid is again what we're going to keep seeing. There's no wave clear at the moment, and Jinx will take down these towers.
Are they going to pull the trigger?
Misstep from EDG. Mako gets head-butted backwards, and that slicing Maelstrom does nothing. Apprehend pulls Reignover back, and he's going to be the sacrificial queen of the Xur side. Rekkles is left a little bit alone, and Koro has got the Noxian Might. Flash comes up from Clearlove, but Rekkles manages to get away. Super Mega Death Rocket gets a kill, gets a reset, gets Rekkles excited. He's got a double. He's looking for the triple. Look for the zap. Is it on cooldown? Not going to get fired just yet. A 2 for 2.
A bit of a weird fight for Fnatic. Engage happened. Very nice headbutt from Yellowstar first against Mako. Getting that cannon ulti away, but Fibron had to teleport in. A bit delayed, and they had to give up at least Reignover at first.
And again, you are left with Jinx and Azir up though, so Fnatic can take an objective afterwards. They get a lot of damage on that turret. Mid lane pressure here. They don't stick around for it actually because of the early revive times here for EDG so far. Did get about half of it.
Keep seeing this mix for Fnatic in terms of how they want to play the game. Last game it was, okay, Rekkles, you just sit on your own in lane, Goonie we camp for you over and over. This game, they've been giving all the big waves to Rekkles on this Jinx, letting him farm up as much as possible, and that's paying off in this fight. But look at how late Fibron is going to be in the party.
Big difference there was also teleport use for EDG. Almost everybody used their flashes, one left on each side, but now Fnatic do have the teleport advantage, and we can see a cross-map play after this. There's the Emperor's Divide, though, to put a stop to the Stampede and allow Fnatic to counterattack here to pick up the double. And remember, they also got the turret out of that as well.
As we jump back into game, Huni was under pressure from Echo, Koro, and Def, but he does get out alive. The rest of Fnatic, are they grouped in the middle lane?
Why is EDG sending Def to try and gank someone? He needs to sit in mid and always wave clear, so Fnatic cannot just keep pushing the waves up so easily and then rotate between the lanes. Look here now, suddenly with both Dragon and bot lane towers open because Fnatic freely got to push mid tower and just move through the jungle.
Second Dragon should be picked up there for 0 cost to Fnatic. Huni gets the big top lane farm.
Oh, he got the whole turret, not even just damage off of it.
Grabs that tower, and they extend their lead further and further away. That Stampede becomes less and less worrying when you're charging at them with bunnies instead of rhinoceroses.
Yeah. You can't afford to misallocate your resources if you only have one real wave clear there.
Especially because
Death time
Kassadin,
in transit cost them a whole turret and dragon.
Kassadin is so key to catching out the targets and just chase after them, slow them down your own single target damage. EDG today, whenever they're falling behind, have shown us very poor shot calling. Randomly kind of move members around, don't really know how to react to what Fnatic is bringing.
But you could say that's true of their World Championship showing thus far.
Sure.
It's been a tough showing for EDG. They fell so far behind the Bangkok Titans. Had to pull that game back. And as a team, they just seem to be coming apart a little bit, despite Koro returning. They find themselves in another incredibly difficult situation as they get to 20 minutes. They're down that 4,000 gold. And Fnatic poised to advance to the semifinals, poised to go to Brussels.
Yeah, things do look very difficult for EDG right now. If you want to try and look at it from their point of view, they have to now rely on a mistake, an unforced error from Fnatic, because all their big playmaking abilities are down. All the flashes were blown. Both teleports were blown in the last one. So right now they're just trying to play defensive vision, sort of wait for the big flashes to come back, because it's an all-in team. You pop Sivir Ultimate, you try and have everybody pile on, jump back and hope he can burst down someone from Fnatic. Meanwhile, Fnatic keep taking more, not allowing EDG a moment.
Red buff stolen away. Feathervin takes away a bunch of hit points on that top tower. And with Huni has teleport available, he is matching Pawn's split push.
With no TP on the side of EDG. So again, they invest everything onto that fight in mid lane, trade 2 for 2 and even lose a tower. That was kind of the way for EDG to get back in the game, because they're going to keep trying to split push with the Castellan. But Fnatic also runs double teleport this game because February knows what's going to happen. So he can also sit in the sidelines and try and at least push it back.
And we've got a little bit of time here, and we've mentioned how EDG have struggled this series. I think a little bit of props to Fnatic. There was a fair amount of fear from local fans that Fnatic may be a little shaky. Their week 1 performance wasn't great. Their game against AHQ had a couple of questions, and as a team, the week's prep has seemed to pay off.
Yeah, I think a very big deal for Fnatic is they're showing us more champions that fits the meta really well. Jinx for Reckless is so key for me because he was playing Sivir and Kennen as basically the only AD carry all the time. Was that going to be a big issue? Turns out that EDG thought it was, so they picked him away, but he just picks Jinx instead.
And it's even more funny that even if they have Reckless on the end game carry and they're feeding him all this farm, they still have Huni on a snowball champion Riven, who is actually playing a sort of utility role. He's split pushing so well, using the mobility so well to gain map advantages for his team. Meanwhile, they get their tank that they need in the support pick. Yellow Star on the Alistar. His ultimate is one of the only supports that can really turn into a mid-game and late-game tank because of the power of his ultimate. And here he goes, playmaking as well.
And a flash forward, that unbreakable will is up. Nilam's been caught. He does have flash, and Yellow Star may have bitten off more than he can chew. Pawn is looking to chase with Riftwalk. Here comes Reckless. The Mega Death Rocket does not find a target, and Yellow Star sent home with a drink in hand. Nilam drops the cast, and they get one, punishing the engage.
Well, Yellow Star went
That was a large man to pick a fight with.
Yeah, a little bit crazy in that one.
Teleport behind, gentlemen. Goro wants Fnatic blood. Maiko comes in and Rainover holds him in place. Feathervin puts the golden disc down, but it may not be enough. The apprehend pulls Reckless backwards, and EDG will not go down without a fight. There's a double kill for Huni, but it's matched by a triple kill for Goro.
Great job by EDG pouncing on Fnatic with the opening that they created. That Yellow Star made that unforced error we were looking for the EDG fans, and EDG are able to jump on them for it. Fnatic need to calm down. They still have the advantage here. They can still pull this back. They just have to wait for everyone to regain map control. But look at EDG. They don't let Fnatic get away with that mistake.
And we see what their comp can do when it gets to take these fights here, chasing onto the backline. But why is Fnatic staying? You just lost your support and you're against double teleport. Why would you ever start pushing? That's what EDG really can punish. Great move here, get the flank, get Feathervin down instantly, and they win the fight. Fnatic cannot make another one of those mistakes, because then suddenly they cast it in and so on, and start getting completely out of control.
Yeah, I still think that Fnatic can regain control of this
100%.
fairly easily, though.
Still in the lead. Kobe, you've talked about the Riven, the snowballs ahead or snowballs behind. At this stage where he's got a small CS advantage, what's the relative power level of this between, I don't know, Yamcha and Super Saiyan? No, but seriously.
Pre-Super Saiyan Gohan.
For Huni, not the...
Actually, it's a Piccolo.
It's a Piccolo?
Yeah.
One arm or two?
Two.
Okay, we'll stop. We completely lost a fish.
You're going too
completely lost a fish. Dragon has respawned in the meantime. And EDG are the ones with control of the river for now. They've pulled it out.
This is bold by EDG.
Fnatic might want to try and rush a Baron instead and force EDG away from it. Huni's down here on the bottom side, trying to be annoying. There's no teleport this time around for EDG, so harder to get that flank going. Fnatic really wants to get a 5-on-5 team fight, where they can protect Reckless and Feathervin.
Where they can set up as well. Again, the teleports are down. They have to work around these big cooldowns of the teleports and the flashes from EDG. EDG, every time they have these up, then they make the big all-in play.
Risky for EDG. Now look here. Huni's on the side. Fnatic was looking to pull the trigger.
Huni wasn't able to find the angle in EDG. They are drawing this game out. That gold lead is shrinking in a relative value. And that's their first sort of aggressive, positive play that we've seen in a long period of time.
They've shown that they still have bite. Fnatic not afraid, though.
Wow, this Yellow Star engaging and then putting his team in a disadvantageous position and actually cost Fnatic the control in the map.
Sure, but like that mistake, okay, that happens. You back away, then if you are Fnatic, you don't start pushing against EDG with 2 TPs behind.
That was a
Series of mistakes.
compounded event, yeah.
That was really the big one for me, at least. Now, Huni, we talk about him on this Riven. This game is not going to be about him. It's Febiven and Reckless, the damage they can deal in these big team fights. If Huni can be annoying and trade his life for death, it's almost worth it every single time for them.
And this is where the absence of Tahm Kench this time around really does start to mean something. Def does not have too much safety here against Kassadin. Kassadin, now that Pawn also has Azonias, can jump right in, chunk him out, and look for the re-engage with the rest of the Sivir-boosted team.
See if they can enable those reset dunks from Koro on that knocks into your team.
And that's the one for me as well. With Kassadin, he can go in and be annoying, but he needs the rest of the team to follow him. He needs to set up that Darius to get that first kill. So Flash and TP for Koro are so key in these big team fights, because otherwise he's just running at them with this big axe, and it's very difficult for him to get to the backline against an Azir wall, against an Alistar and all this kind of CC. So really, Koro's positioning in these fights can win the game for EDG.
40 to 50 seconds on both Flash and Teleport for Koro. Pawn not far off, so EDG will have all their summoners available shortly. For Fnatic, they farmed themselves up a game, a noticeable lead. They know the teleports are down, and EDG are going to be so late to this Baron party. Nella and Mako are nearby, but Pawn and Koro are not. Baron's going low, 1,000 HP. It will be secured as Reignover smites it down. Yellow Star's on the front line drawing attention, and Maiko, he's dropped. Reckless is looking to run down Nella. Pawn has arrived, and Huni's on the back line. Featherfin gets the kill. It's the carries Deficio wanted to see. The key strike will stun up EDG as Yellow Star re-engages. He gives his life for the cause, and a flash forward for Reignover gets the knock up, the shut down, the kill for Featherfin. Koro's down, and Fnatic with a 4-on-3 siege.
Redemption play for Yellow Star there, out of the Baron pit. Didn't even have to use Flash for that engage. They take the Baron, and they're able to clean up right afterwards. Now, the Baron-empowered siege, Fnatic can push into inhibitors.
This Alistar pick here again for Yellow Star. When they take Baron, he's always denying the enemy jungler the chance to try and smite it, headbutts him away. It's a very, very smart play from Fnatic, but also EDG trying to take a blue buff while Fnatic is sitting around that Baron for the last 5-6 minutes with no teleport. Super risky, and they got punished.
With all the damage that Fnatic had, you know, the 3 lanes of threat, they can burn this down. They have Huni.
And look at Yellow Star.
Huni didn't even have to teleport in. He just followed along. So Vivian absolutely destroying the support Kennen there.
Didn't even get the blue buff.
Not worth. Well, EDG out of position, and Fnatic punish it ruthlessly.
Now he's gonna get it.
They can taste
He was preparing
victory.
the blue buff.
Hey, it'll have a longer duration now.
Yeah, well played.
1 blue for 5 purples.
Good trade, good trade.
You actually stumped me with that one. Kobe. No,
You don't.
no, I know.
Baron-
I know. It's 5 purple buffs, but it's not the same value by any stretch of the imagination.
I think that's the whole point here.
You need to add
Thank
the
you, Trevor.
Kappa to the
Actually,
end of that one.
Yellow Star doesn't have one. It's only 4. Now is it worth?
Okay, there we go, there we go. I'll take that trade, I'll take that trade. Reckless with that BT, Edge, and Shiv, pushing a wave in. Pow Pow wants to take down this inner turret. Featherfin did so much work to drop it low earlier.
He's gonna flank.
Let's find out.
They have to win this fight.
Is thrown for death. The body slam gets interrupted, and Clearlove cannot chase further thanks to the Flame Chompers. Reckless takes him down as Koro and EDG are running for their lives. The Flash Wind Slash does not dash anybody's life, and Huni is alive thanks to Face of the Mountain. Yellow Star saves his life. The AoE rocket rockets from Reckless get the second of the fight. They've got the tower and they're on the inhib.
Once again, I'm looking at Yellowstar in these fights here. We mentioned how Koro has to be able to get to the back line to get the reset instantly. Headbutts him away, zones away here, make sure his carries are sitting so far back, they can deal the damage, and EDG couldn't get a flank.
Also, Fnatic laying down the soldiers as they kite, and then instantly turning. So much DPS coming out of this Fnatic lineup.
Fnatic have broken the base of EDG at 30 minutes.
And the coordination for EDG seems to completely died. Why don't you have a double teleport with home guards coming in here? If this is the fight you're looking for, look how hard it is to reach the backline. Yellowstar denies Koro, and suddenly 2 carries are sitting back here from Fnatic, and nobody's even close. The Castellan didn't even have a chance to reach him. You gotta coordinate the double teleport in if you wanna aim for these 2 carries.
So close to killing Huni. Huni wants to kill Pawn. They are equal on level. There's a flash available for Pawn, so he's going to buy some time. Rift walks over the wall, then flashes away. Gets caught by the zap.
Keep going for Vivian.
And
Don't let him get away with this.
Not that time. No flash. Pawn manages to get away, but Fnatic get the dragon. That's their third.
Yep, they're going to shove right up bottom lane here as well. Darius actually is getting a pretty good push on top, so it'll buy them some time. EDG, though, definitely very difficult defense coming up.
Well, Fnatic looking to be the second European team in the top 4 at the 2015 World Championship. They need to knock over one more Nexus. And they've got EDG against the ropes.
They've looked so good this series as well. After stumbling in week 1 of the group stages, Fnatic have made such a good recovery here at Worlds.
And it's a team that really prides themselves in being able to prepare for these best out of 5 so well. They talked about how they didn't have enough time to prepare for week 1. Didn't have enough information maybe to prepare, and that's probably going to be a kill.
Well, the great chase continues. Pawn's going to rift walk over. He might be able to kill Featherfin, and he does! Pawn gets one before Reckless zaps him down. Gets excited and looks for more.
Yeah, he's got the double buff here on Reckless as well, but doesn't pull out the chase. Fnatic now, they do have minion wave pushing in top. Even without Fabivin, they might decide to push this up because Fabivin does have teleport, so they can prep the siege while he's dead.
Gotta farm the jungle.
And have a teleport in. Yeah, well, Huni's been playing the utility role this time around. He's got the Ghost Blade even with the early Last Whisper here.
Is that a support item?
Yes, the support Ghost Blade.
Well, Huni's continuing to pull side lane pressure and threat. Farmed up another CS advantage.
It's a really, really important thing too, because earlier in the group stages, several times, Huni will be sort of wandering through the jungle and get caught and cost the team a kill. However, this game, he's done so well at escaping every single time. Not every single time. Most of the time when EDG collapsed.
The rest of the team was able to secure buffs. I mean, Koro and Pawn were moving towards their bottom lane. That Huni was pushing in when Fnatic took the first Baron. 6,000 gold Baron power play. The 6th largest, in fact, of all Baron plays at the World Championship.
Baron has been wearing the Fnatic jersey today, that's for sure. He's been helping out a lot, but really for EDG, seems to me they were surprised with Fnatic changing up the strategies from time to time. Now the fact they suddenly play around Reckless a lot more as the carry, and Fibivin, of course, in the mid lane instead of Huni. But EDG maybe were expecting every game to somewhat be the same. Okay, they're going to camp for Huni, and then we're going to try and shut it down.
Yeah, EDG to me look like a team that's still trying to adapt to the World's meta. They tried to pull off the 4 global comp, after seeing it such success here at Worlds in such a short time. They tried to learn it and use it, and then in such a short time, they also try and use the Veigar Siege comp after seeing it here, but it didn't work out for them either. Fnatic burning this Baron down.
Well, they've got it before EDG are even in range, and Yellowstone started to initiate. Pawn is knocked up in the air so long he may as well have frequent flyer miles. Pawn will try to rift walk away and get shut down. Rainover is out. It's a double for Reckless. He wants to run down more. Def, his brother in arms, will be his dead man in arms. That's a triple. Huni finds Clear Love in the back, and Reckless with the rest of Fnatic. They're on to the Nexus, and Fnatic will advance to the semi-finals. The only team to do that 3 times in the World Championships. Fantastic play from Fnatic, and great to see sportsmanship between Reckless and Deft. But truthfully, on this day, Fnatic simply outplayed EDG in
Yeah.
almost every way.
Hey, we had a lot of questions coming in here for Fnatic. We didn't know what other AD carries they would play. Would they sometimes play around Reckless? And they did.
The euphoria is running high, with China now being eliminated from the World Championship. The only teams that remain are from Korea and Europe. We're down to 3 semi-finals locked in, and 1 more to face Fnatic tomorrow. But for Fnatic, what a way to go. 3-0 against EDG.
Very, very impressive series from Fnatic. And the teams tomorrow, the Korean teams going up against each other.